Prophet Marcello Krantz. So, so I'm doing a video about this spiritual warfare, man. Just making it very clear, man. It's people that don't understand, man. I'm telling you, they don't understand. Like I was just on a live just now with somebody, and I heard her saying something like Satan and all of this. People got to be very careful, man, putting their mouth on God's people. They got to be very careful because, see, what you got to understand is this. It doesn't take a lot to be a child of God. It doesn't. It doesn't take a lot because Jesus paid the price. You know what I'm saying? So people might think it's extremely hard and you got to be doing this right and doing that right. That's why I know people can go to heaven, like that person go to heaven, but when they start putting their mouth on other people, see, I don't get consumed with other Christians because it's very tricky. I distinguish the difference between American Christianity and the rest of the Christianity in the world. And it's like that because here you're taught to be in a behavioral club. It's more religious. And then in other countries, they have real spiritual wars. Okay, they have real wars. What you gonna tell somebody that is in Nigeria that they don't fight against flesh and blood? It's not physical. It is physical. They dealing with physical human people that kill Christians. So what they supposed to do? What they supposed to do? What they supposed to do? Oh, sit there and do a little prayer? No, they can't. They gotta even probably take up arms because they're in a physical battle. See, the hardest thing for American Christians to understand, and I already know this. This is why I was saying this on this person's live stream. It's hard for them to understand that we have come to the time where we have to physically fight these people. We have to. It's a physical war. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't know that it is, what's going to happen is you're in danger of becoming a casualty. Because God said my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You'll be destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You know, and you'll get to heaven. But you'll be destroyed down here because you'll just lay around and just think, well, this is my time to go, and you didn't realize you could fight back. I see in the Bible over and over again God's people fighting back, right or wrong, right or wrong. They fight back all the time, and people die. So then your time has come to fight back, and you didn't realize it. These American Christians don't realize it. So they're programmed with white American Christianity to just be docile and Lord will forgive them and we'll forgive them. But then I can show you in the Bible where it's time to fight back. They can't, like the spirits can't take it. Like I could say, you know, with this particular person, if you want to be technical, man, I can show you where people don't even believe in a woman even teaching. That a woman don't even supposed to be trying to teach. But that's okay. That's okay, man. That's okay, man. You know what I'm saying? But and then people will say it's the spirit of Satan and say something like that. She said something to that effect. But it's okay. It's okay because if people continue to put their mouth on me, which they won't, she won't. There's so many people she deal with. She won't be able to put her mouth on. But God is gonna correct her. You know what I'm saying? And chastise her because once God sends His prophets to you to show you the way, whether it's worldly people, whether it's Christians, and you choose not to, that's why you're suffering the way you're suffering. And then He's going to bring correction when you put your mouth on His people. Oh yeah, God, oh yeah, you saying that? I tried to show you, but yeah. Then you say something to my prophet. Now she gonna go through a season of correction. She'll see, it'll be somebody else that God has sent to her. But it had to be me first, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm the one that's gonna bring the spiritual repercussions when you put your mouth on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I know, like she might think, looking at my age, that I'm fairly young, but I'm probably older than her. And you know, she don't know any better. You know what I'm saying? I done been through this from state to state. She's at a standstill in one place. I've been gang stalked from city to city. I know what I'm talking about. And she might have looked at me and thought I'm just new to it. She might have sized me up because the first, what I based this off of, she said, oh yeah, you know, I've been gang stalked for quite some time. Like as if she an OG over me. And it's just like, come on, bro. It's like I've been told before, people say, don't let the baby face fool you. You know what I'm saying? I'm 44 years old. I'm part Asian, Filipino, white, black, South American, Latino, Peruvian, so I don't even get offended, man, because I already know. I already know, man. The Bible says God hates, right? 7 things. Okay, if God hates, who am I not to hate? It makes it clear. So, okay, so then is it imaginary hate? Or is it not real? Is it poetic hate? Okay, so then what is it? And the truth is, man, people can't humble themselves and say, you know what? I never thought about that. It's actually in the Bible. The hate is in the Bible. Okay, maybe how we know you may have not went through war like I have because you haven't come to the point where you realize I gotta walk in hate. I gotta walk in hate for this, in this situation. Love ain't gonna fix this. Love is not gonna fix it. And so, maybe it's gonna take a couple more years for you to go through it, and then you're gonna realize you're gonna look at them scriptures that talks about a time to hate, and you're gonna be more inquisitive about what that is. That's all it's gonna take. I'm pretty like some people say they've been through it for quite some time. Like I think at that moment in time, she thought she had a little more experience with this. That's what I think. Because her riff with me was, it's not physical. It's physical because they move physically. If they were just sitting still and they wasn't doing physical operations of gang stalking, that's a physical operation. That could drive some people crazy. Right or wrong. What we doing, how can that drive somebody crazy? Physically. What I'm physically doing, how can it drive somebody crazy? It can't. They are walking around physically, playing psychological games with people's head. If you wasn't strong enough, that could drive some people crazy. Okay, so you like in the other physical operation, see, you gotta understand, you can't be one track minded. Physical does not mean physical as in sense punching and kicking and fighting. Physical means you do stuff physically. I don't do anything physically. I don't go out and gang stalk people. I don't go and try to check on enemies in this building. I don't go try to check on enemies in Brooklyn. I don't try to go check on enemies in America physically. That's why I don't have any problems. I don't move physically for nobody. I'll defend myself because I'm supposed to as a grown man. See, it's things that I can show you in the Bible, man, but it's just like, man, people got it. I already know that they're brainwashed by American Christianity. See, if we was in another country, people will understand. African Christians understand perfectly, man. Like, it's just, at some point, if somebody's using witchcraft, you got to go into war. That's it. It's no way around it. You got to go into war. It's like, or die. Which one you want to do? Ride or die? You gonna ride or die. You know what I'm saying? So, man, it's just like, I understand something that they don't understand. That's why I'm getting victory. That's why people are respecting me. They respected me out in the streets, and they ain't respecting these other Christians because I fought back. You know what I'm saying? I fought back, and people know the difference. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. So when you look at my humanity, if you look at me as a person, you're gonna see humanity. That's what I'm human. That makes me human. That doesn't make me a devil. It makes me human. Especially when you go through war. Ask soldiers when you go through war. What do you feel? How do you feel towards this enemy? You feel like they the scum of the earth. You want to see them rot. You want to see them die. You want to see them die 3 times if you could. You want to see them die more than 1 time. This is the talk that happens on the battlefield, on the literal battlefield. If you're on a literal tour as a military personnel, you're on a literal tour, you're going to have all the choice words. My point is, your humanity can come out from time to time. I'm not justifying it, but it can. You know what I'm saying? See, it's Christians that stick to these strict rules. It's not the path. It's not, I'm gonna put it like this. You can be righteous and still make mistakes, and you're still righteous. People can't take it away. So just because I disagree with you, or you don't agree with me, don't mean I'm a part of Satan. Nope. I can make mistakes and still not be part of Satan. See, that's how advanced I am as a Christian. I know you can make mistakes. You can get in your flesh. I mean, I can look in the Bible. David did all kind of crazy stuff. David killed a man for his woman, right? That's worse than anything me and you could ever be accused of by these other Christians. But David was still considered a man of God by God. God didn't leave David. See, man, that's just kind of Christianity I'm on. So I'm just saying, if anybody even see you make mistakes, God can still be with that person. The mistake you'll make is being consumed with God's people. I'm not consumed with God's people. I say it how I need to say it. But like nitpicking and sitting up. If I see a person's spirit is in the right position. Cause see, a lot of times, man, a lot of Christians deal with being bipolar, or they do drugs, and and their mind is warped, and people are paranoid and schizophrenic, or they just paranoid. They're scary, you know what I'm saying? And that's why they'll think the devil sent you, and really they just scary a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They're a little scary. People are in Christianity in America. They're not used to a real man. This is a result of all these passive men in the church. This is why people go to Islam and start serving being a Muslim, because they can't find masculinity in the church. So when you find a masculine man that stands up and fights war in the present time, people gonna think, oh, that ain't the right spirit, because you're used to seeing a feminine spirit in the church. It's the truth. You ain't used to seeing no man in the church preaching and telling you what should happen in war. In war is in the Bible. Nobody can dispute it. War is in the Bible. Okay, so then I need to do something with myself to understand war is in the Bible. War is in the Bible. Okay, so then let's stop right there. What do I do when war is in the Bible? Do I act like it's the Old Testament? Well then, but God is the same. God is the same today, yesterday, and forever, right? So God is the same even though it's the Old Testament, which means God is never unholy, right? God is holy at all times. Okay, so then when he sent his people to war, he was holy. He wasn't unholy. Okay then. So if God is not unholy when he sent his people to war, then war itself is not unholy as a concept. See, this is the reason why people are being slaughtered in this country by gang stalking, getting their head knocked off where they can't even think straight and talk about nothing else. They can't talk about nothing else because you're not doing enough of the right things. You gotta fast. You can't be in the behavioral club where you think it's all about being on your perfect behavior. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying don't have a good behavior, but I'm saying don't let people, don't act like you can't be human and show anger. The Bible says be angry and sin not. Don't act like that's the only concept that it's all about, is going and being on your best behavior. So for some white Christians in America, it's all about being on your best behavior. That's what it's about. They don't fight back. They don't do any of that because it's about being this nice guy. But you can't be a nice guy per se all the time. That's why I say it's be angry and sin not. When you angry, you're not being nice. So it's just like for me, bro, like that's what makes me a prophet. I got free from religion. And that's why I can't even take it personal, man, because even on that stream that person just kicked me off of, I know I'm glad. I suffer that willingly for Christ, you know what I'm saying? Because I already knew as I was talking to this person that Christians in America is not, is not going to be able to follow the true word of God. It's programmed. They programmed. They listen to the wrong Christians. The Christians I don't listen to is Christians that don't understand what's going on right now. I don't listen to them. I can even give to their ministry because I know it's anointed, right? This is the balance with me. I'm not saying you're not a Christian, but I can't listen to you. I can even give to your ministry because I know I can get results, spiritual results. But I don't. Am I going to sit down and really follow your form of Christianity? Nope, because you don't realize what's going on. What I'm gonna get from it. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to touch my inner yearnings of what I need right now. You know what I'm saying? I need people to produce messages on spiritual warfare that is efficient, that is sufficient. Not a physical war. This person misunderstood me. This person think I'm talking about using physical weapons. No, I'm not. I'm not talking about using physical weapons. I'm not talking about fight. I didn't say that at one time, at any time. I'm talking about you using your spiritual weapons of fasting. This is what I first started out saying. So you knew I was talking about spiritual weapons. I'm talking about spiritual weapons, right? Okay, so, but we're using them against physical human beings. Yes. But are we doing anything physically? No, I don't not at this point. Now, if the war escalates and there's anarchy and these people still want smoke, well, yeah, we're going to have to do what we got to do in the last final hours. We got to knock them down. I live in the real world. See, I'm already ready to get a drum and get on the road. I call it the road, where people are just being killed. You know what I'm saying? Because we in anarchy times. I mean, I live in the real world. I mean, some Christians don't. You know, if this world fall off a little more, they just gonna die. I'm telling you what's gonna happen. Because they don't live in the real world, right? In this country, many Christians in America don't live in the real world. So if it becomes a war and anarchy happens, what you gonna do? God is gonna make you like David. You're gonna have a Bible in one hand and a weapon in the other. And some people are not ready for that. Because that's not your Christianity didn't elevate to the point where you understood that maybe you would have to fight against human beings in the real world. You know what I mean? You didn't know that. You didn't know this would happen, but here we are. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't even get offended, man. I promise you I don't. I don't even get offended, man, because I already know what type of Christians they are. You know what I'm saying? They'll sit up and talk about the problem, but they don't have the solutions. They'll sit up and talk about the problem, but they don't know what to do about the problem. I know what to do about the problem. I'll be just like David with a heart of Jesus, but I have the physical understanding of David to go to war. David went to war with physical people. Okay, so you can't say God's people never went into physical war. So my question is, what understanding do you get from that? David went to war with human beings. What understanding do you get from that? It should be that at times we will fight against human beings. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, you know, I mean, and I can prove that with the Bible, but you can't prove that we won't ever fight against human beings. Prove that with the Bible. You couldn't prove it, because as soon as you start going through Genesis to Revelation, you're going to come up against all these wars. You're going to see all these wars, and you ain't going to be able to prove this stance that God's people will never fight against human beings. The time just changed. That's what messed people's mind up. They didn't have to do it before in America, right? Because you didn't have to do it before, you can't get around to doing it now, because you don't think it's valid now for you to do it because you didn't have to do it before. I'm telling you, that's what it is. I'm telling you, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. So, you know, I don't even take it personal, because I came on the stream already knowing what type of Christians I'm dealing with. The ones that they can't understand it's a time of hate. The Bible makes it clear. God hates. I can show you right here in the Bible. We can get right to it. Because, see, I'm all about the Bible. See, that's if you're not paying attention, you won't realize how strict I am with the Bible. And that means the whole Bible. You can't pick and choose. Okay, so then if it's wars in the Bible, then how you gonna get past that? That's my thing. It's like you can't sit up and say, oh well, I'm choosing not to steal. No. It's wars in the Bible. So how you understand it is, oh, it's not old. God is not old, which means God is eternal, right? So God's nature can never be evil. So if you can see God commanding over and over again his people to go to war with physical human beings, then war is not unholy as a concept. You just got to know when to fight the war. And the time is now. But right now we are fighting it by spiritual means. And that's the balance. We're fighting it by spiritual means. We're not going out here shooting guns. It's physical. Now see, she should have asked, break down physical. She asked me, is it a physical back and forth, yes or no? Yeah, it's physical, but you gotta understand what physical is. It's us going against physical human beings, yes, but is our war physical against human beings? Are we physically doing something against him? Obviously, I'm not. Okay, and I'm talking about the war as to fight it. So do you see me doing anything physical while I'm talking about fighting? No, you don't. Okay, I don't make mistakes where the FBI can raid me talking about going out here and fighting human beings. I know better than that. I know way better than that. So I wouldn't make that mistake. You're just not able to grasp the concept of what I'm talking about. And that's the truth. You know, people don't have teachers. You know, in the time of YouTube, truly people don't have teachers. I don't even get offended. Because I know I know most Christians are not prophets. You ain't going to be able to get this understanding. You ain't going to be able to get an understanding. A prophet is on a whole different level of Christianity. But if I say that too openly, you think I'm being arrogant, but we are. That's why when I seen this, and I seen the Bible where it talks about wars, okay, I gotta understand that obviously God's people do fight against human beings at some time. Not all the time. And see, that's what people don't realize. There's a time for it, right? Right. Just like wars, there's a time for war. The Bible makes it clear. A time of war and a time of peace. A time of love and a time of hate. It's just like, I know some people can't accept it, man. You know what I'm saying? But then I just let ignorant be bliss. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna troll nobody. I ain't gonna, like, listen, once I know you can't receive the full word of God and understanding, because if I just said things along these lines, you would already know there's wars in the Bible, right? Okay, as soon as I said that, you would be on board if you already knew. Obviously, that means your understanding has not come to that point. That's all it means. Because as soon as I said there's wars in the Bible, and you already understood that God's people fought wars with human beings physically. They killed people. Samson killed people. I could have went through a list. Samson killed people. Right or wrong. God allowed Samson to kill people. David killed people. Moses had to fight against Pharaoh's army. These were real wars. Moses commanded many wars after Pharaoh. He commanded many wars. The Americans are used to docile Christianity. That's all it is. And then you talk to a real man gonna say, hold up. There's wars in the Bible. That's the part we gonna be looking at as real men. Women gonna be looking at the love and all this. Now let's keep it real. By nature, we gonna be by nature, right? A real man gonna be like, oh, hold up. There's wars in the Bible though. So then, obviously, I'm missing my understanding is not clear from the Christianity that I've been taught. And see, that's just like how it is, man. So I don't even get offended, man, because And that's how you know I'm in the right spirit. Because if I was in the evil spirit, I would try to some religious people are in the evil spirit where they can say, well, you know what? I don't even listen. I can't stand them people. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Listen, I ain't going that far to talk all like that. You know what I'm saying? I'ma just let people find out for themselves, and they gonna see when we get to heaven. They gonna see I'm right. Like I know that. I know that. It's not being arrogant. I'm a prophet. I have more understanding of the Bible than the average person. And this proves it. This proves it. If you can overlook the scripture that says it's a time of love and a time to hate, and you don't think it's no time to hate, and you think it's always love, me and you on two different levels. If you have not come to understand healthy hate, you're being arrogant and prideful that you don't want to receive the truth. Just admit it. You didn't know this. Now you talk to a real prophet. Oh wow, I didn't know there was hate in the Bible. I heard it, but it didn't register, right? That's all I'm saying. You heard it, but it did not register to you. That it's a time of love and a time to hate. Okay, it didn't register to you. Let's just admit it. You heard it. Okay, you heard it before, but it didn't register, right? You seen wars in the Bible. You seen the wars of David, and you watched a whole Christian movie 1,000,000 times, and it did not register. How many times you watched the David movie as a Christian? 1,000,000 times, I guarantee you did on YouTube. It didn't register, did it? No, it didn't. Just admit it. Just admit it. It did not register. I used to be just like you. And then because I'm a prophet, God broke me out of it. You know what I'm saying? And I realized, oh, it's wars in the Bible. It dawned on me. I got an epiphany. Look up the term epiphany. I got an epiphany and realized, oh, hold up. There's wars in the Bible. Well, okay, so then if we don't fight against flesh and blood, then what's that? If we don't fight against human beings as Christians, then as God's people, then what's that then? See, see, it's not challenging God. It's challenging what you've been taught. That's what it is. It's challenging. You ain't challenging God. I'm not challenging God. You challenging what you've been taught. And you don't want to do that. It's too painful for you to realize, ooh, I think I've been taught the wrong way the whole time. Yeah, you've been taught the wrong way the whole time. Okay? So, man, listen, let me tell you something, bro. You can't bury me. You can't bury the truth. Because I know in my particular situation of being gang stalked, which I've been through more than this person. Okay, I guarantee you she hasn't been through it in California. She probably ain't never been to the West Coast. Okay, so you ain't dealt with West Coast gang stalking. That's number one. Number two, you probably haven't dealt with it in 4 major states. In New York, you haven't dealt with it here in New York. She hasn't. She's probably still like a Southern woman. No disrespect, but she isn't even the gang stalking up here is on a whole nother level. Okay, so I've been through gang stalking in California and New York. She act like she had been through it more than me. That's the funny part. She said I've been through gang stalking for quite some time. Okay, so she thought I was somebody that was talking ignorantly about physically fighting these people. I'm talking about physical repercussions on them. They get physical repercussions. If you connect to principalities, you ain't gonna get to walk around and do that for free. So that type of teaching that she got, people will walk away thinking they supposed to just, it's a passive approach. I'm not saying because she a woman, but man, it's a passive approach to Christianity, man. That's just what it is, man. You know, it's just a passive approach. You gotta realize it. I don't feel alone because see, me as a prophet, I'm close to God. That's how I get messages. That's how I get this understanding. God is with me no matter what I do. And see, people don't understand that. A just man falls 7 times. Now, she can go back and look at it. She can go back and look at what's being said. She can go back and look at it. in my message. And that's probably what she gonna do. She go back and look at it, and you gonna realize, okay, one day you gonna realize, I think that prophet was right though. It's in the Bible. Okay, so if I look up the scripture for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, right? That's the Hebrew in the Greek. You look it up in the Hebrew and the Greek. It doesn't have a Hebrew, it only has a Greek. See, I'm about that life. I'm about the life of looking it up in the scriptures. Looking it up. And when you can prove to me, besides ghetto interpretations of the Bible that you got from a dude that just stopped smoking crack 5 months ago, and he decided to be a preacher. He decided to get ordained after 5 months. That's who people get this information from. Former crackheads that got 5 months clean, and now they talk about they a preacher. That's how it started. Think about all those storefront churches across America. Them dudes, think about what I'm saying. A lot of them guys got 5 months clean and opened a storefront church. You don't believe that, do you? I say 3 months, 3 years, 3 years clean. Man, I've been a Christian since 1999. I probably was a Christian before she was. If she talking to me like I'm ignorant, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. You can't play with these people. They're not gonna stop until you go to war. I'm telling you. That's why I tried to help her. Really, I got on that stream to kind of try to educate her a little bit about what she going through. I know what it takes. You ain't gonna be able to get out of this halfway playing with these people. You're gonna be a casualty, bro. I'm telling you, I know what I know, man. You know what I'm saying? Because what the Bible says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, which means you can have a relationship with God and you still get destroyed, bro. Which means you got that love and connection and everything, but you still get destroyed. Because God says, my people. Okay, so my people is going to be people that's close to God. They're going to be loving God. They're going to be praying to God. They're going to be fasting to God. And you still get destroyed. You know why? Because you lack knowledge. My people means people that's intimate with God. They got a relationship with God. Right. But you don't know something, and that's why you died. You overlooked it. It didn't register to you. You did not accept the word of God. That's the truth. You ain't accept it. You know what I'm saying? It's just a time of war. And you might think a man is trying to be cool. See, that's what people gonna think. A man is trying to be cool, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to be tough, a tough guy. No, it ain't that. It's people playing in my lane. So then what I supposed to do? That's real. What I supposed to do? I'm going to war. That's what I'm doing. And see, some people scared to do it. Some people scared to go to war and all of that, man. You know, it's that too. It's that too, man. Especially for a female, you know, they'll turn coward, man. If you dating a female and you being gang stalked, she might have left you because of the gang stalking, bro. I mean, I'm being real. She might have left you because of the heaviness of the gang stalking. You gotta understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like this ain't, some women cannot hold on, bro. You gotta have a real soldier. You can't have no docile woman that just embraces all this stuff and just invites all this stuff into her life. It's not gonna happen with that old Christianity you've been taught in America. I'm telling you. It's switched up. The devil turned up the heat. He went to war on a whole another level. And see, that's what people don't want to accept. So it's gonna be a lot of people, and I'm just grateful, man. Listen, I am just grateful, man, that I am not one of them people, bro. Cause ain't no way in the world a man of my mind, of my intellect, is gonna see wars in the Bible, and I'm gonna think it's not true. I ain't gonna fight against no human beings. I mean, what you mean? How you mean that? How you mean that, bruh? Like, I'm just glad to be free. You know what I'm saying? I listen. A prophet is gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna tell you what you need to know, You know what I'm saying? She can go back and listen to that stream. If you didn't understand it, I ain't say nothing wrong because I would have corrected myself. So I didn't say something to the effect that where I'm fighting against physically fighting against people. I already made that clear. Like, I mean, I talked about fasting from the very beginning, so I expect people to understand what type of weapons I'm talking about with these people. But some people don't focus on taking the weapons to the people. They won't believe. She won't agree with that either. She won't agree with fasting against people. They'll think their fast is unto God. It is unto God, but you fast against these people. That's what I'm saying. You give offerings against these people. That's why I prove it with the word of God. You have to, at some point, if you're being fought. Now, let's say you in a season where you ain't go to war, like when we was younger, right? Okay. When we was younger. Like, I'm like 20 years plus as a Christian. I'm over 20 years old as a Christian. Okay, let's get that understood. Okay. So, when we first came to God, we were fast. We had no war. We had no war. There was no war in the land. There was no crazy people like they are now. You know, and you fast, you give offerings for blessings and the things that happen in your life. Now, when a war happens, now the same principles of fasting and giving offerings is applied to these enemies. That's all I was saying to her. It's still spiritual weapons, but it's applied to people. And that's what the hang up is. Even though they can hear that and I can explain it like that, they still not going to accept it. I'm telling you. They're not going to accept it. Because you're going to think that's fighting against flesh and blood. That's what you're going to think. But then I can take you to the Bible where it comes a time when we have to fight against these people. So religion can't, and the religious Freemasons and those who are religious and like them, they can't make me ever feel guilty for doing what the Bible does and commands to do. God gave his people the victory. God gave his people power over human beings. And listen, you ain't gonna ever get me as a black man to be docile in Christianity. It ain't gonna happen. Okay, it's that simple. You know what I'm saying? You just another country. America gonna find out the hard way. You just another country, bro. That's all. That's what they need to realize. You're just another country. That's all you are to God. We don't care about what you've done in the world. We don't care about your flag. We don't care about your rights. We don't care about your constitution. We don't care about none of that. You are just, see, you talking to a prophet. You are nothing to me. You're just another country to me. I don't partake of all these things that's here, right? I don't care about it then. It doesn't, all the stuff that people do, I don't do. So then what do I get from it? I don't get the same thing. I don't get the same experience because I don't do the same thing. People that's caught up in drugs and excessive eating and food and all this stuff, they don't want to hear nothing about fasting. Even Christians, they don't want to hear nothing about it. Because you don't want to have to really dig in and do a lot of fasting. You don't want to do that. You're looking for an easy way out. And a real man gonna tell you it's no easy way out. That same person will say, oh, she said something like, yeah, fasting really helps. That tells me already, man, you're not really fasting. Fasting really helps. No, fasting is a lifestyle. That's what I expect you to say. Amen. You don't even explain it. To explain it to tell me you're on the lower level. You don't even got to explain. You're going to say amen to that because you are already doing it. Makes sense? You are already doing it. So, you know, I do. She said something like, I do understand that fasting really helps. Nah, bro. I have to agree that fasting really helps. Really helps. It's the only way. It's the only way, bro. And the truth is, people will halfway Jedi mind trick, and you already heard what I stand for, which is the fasting, but you're looking for a reason to get out of the way I'm saying to do it. Because you don't really want to, you don't really halfway fast like that. You see that? You see what I'm talking about? They don't really fast like that. So from even when I talk about spiritual means, you don't, even if you thought about it that way, you don't really want to do it this way. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't want to do it this way. This is the only way, man. You got to get in and dig into this fasting. And if you the type of person that you ain't really about this life, and you don't really want to put your plate down, and you really want to just do a little talking a little bit, and it all goes away. Okay, bro. Okay. I'm telling you, as a veteran, I know what I'm talking about. Ain't no way in the world these people gonna play with God's kingdom and then think ain't nothing gonna happen to them. You have to use fasting and giving offerings, and they don't want to do that. That's probably what she's seen about me, the giving offerings. And then I can show you to the Bible. This is why I stay on it. I can say perfect messages, excellent messages of love and joy and fruit of the Spirit. As a teacher, as a veteran, I can give you all teachings. This is how you know I'm not a deceiver. I can give you perfect teachings where there's no carnal talk, and I ain't talking about my past. I ain't talking about smoking. I ain't talking about drinking and the things I've done in the past. I ain't talking about none of that. I can give you clean messages, 100%, and not talk about nothing and give you all these lovely messages, but get all the views and all the likes and everything. I promise you I can, because I know how they think. I can give you all the messages that I know you will love, but it's not that season. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather listen. I'll take it. I'll take whatever it is that come with it, man, because you know what? I know what season we in, and I'd rather preach about what season we in than all these nice little messages. You know what I'm saying? Even talking about the gang stalkers can be a nice little message. It's time to go to war. Okay? That's it. That's all there is to it. Anything else is a nice little message. How we all congregate together and talk about the gang stalkers and what they're doing and all. That's a nice little message, man. See, that's why a masculine spirit is lacking in the work in God's kingdom. God knows, bro. God knows who His own is, and if you know, I know who God really is. If I don't lie, I don't make up lies, because God can take my life and God can take yours. I don't make up lies. I'm a person that fear the Lord, buddy. So I'm not gonna say something that ain't true. It's just you have to admit your Christianity is that of white America, man. I'm telling you, that's what it is. And black people even influenced by it. The reason why your Christianity is the way it is because your teachers were white American teachers. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but if you black, this is how I personally feel. If you're black, you need a black teacher as well. You can have white teachers, you can have Hispanic and Latino teachers, but you also need at least one. You need at least one black teacher. Yes, you do. Because they gonna talk to you living Christianity from a black experience. You're in America. You ain't living that. You can't live as no white Christian. You walk down the street. How they gonna know you a Christian? They gonna see you black first, and they gonna give you a black experience. And I'm not saying that God is not able to keep you from it, but don't be superstitious. You are superstitious, thinking that oh God would just put a bubble around me. And man used their free will. Well, God, come on, man. The truth is, I'm going to tell you what it really is. You want to know what it really is? Many of you do not fast enough. This is the truth. You don't fast enough and seek the Lord enough to have that level of protection. That when you go outside, see, you ain't going to believe that. You ain't going to believe it. Because you're going to think as a Christian, I'm going to just go out there and I'm protected. That's what you're going to think. I know, and it's the hardest thing for you to understand. That God expects you to grow in spiritual power to where you are protected by His spiritual power. You don't grow in it. So you just think you have rights to it. You think you have rights to it. Technically you do, but you have not grown into that level of protection. Where you can step out here and it's a real military out here and nothing happens to you. You're not on that level of protection. I'm telling you, that's what it is. That's why you're going to see all this stuff happen to these people, man, because they're going to step out here with no spiritual power. And watch, it's going to happen. It's going to happen to more of these Christians from back in the day. Back in the early millennium, you know what I'm saying? You one of them 2004 Christians. It's all, I understand. I already know. I already know, man. I've been a Christian over 20-something years. 26 years. I've been a Christian for 26 years. Okay? That's almost 30 years, bro. Listen, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something from experience. Many of you are used to non-denominational teaching. And some are even talking about that's evil or false teachers. And some of you are religious. Some of you are in a time warp, right? And you haven't caught up to the present time. Okay? Even if you was listening to non-denominational teaching, you never took it to the next level. You never took your fasting. You still fast for 3 days. How you know I'm not deceived? Is first of all, I'm around witchcraft, right? So easily people could say, well, okay, that's why he go in and out of carnality and different things like that. See, if you was expert, you would realize that. Okay, I'm dealing with people trying to curse me all around me, right? Ultimately, I bounce back, right? Right. But if you pay attention, you would see, okay, I understand why he is the way he is. I understand why he turning his Christianity around against these people. I understand why he using his weapons, right? You ain't gonna be confused about it. You ain't gonna be confused about this. The only reason you're confused is because you have white teachers. Black people had their churches burned in America. Okay, so what you gonna tell American Christians that had their churches burned? That we don't fight against flesh and blood? That they can just do a little prayer and it's gonna all go away with these racist people that didn't go away. The racist people didn't go away. So then what? So then what? You have to fast against these people. You have to give offerings against these people. If you're in a country where you don't know if you're gonna ever be subject to racism, you don't know when it's gonna happen. I don't care where you're living at or anything. You could live in a building with racist white and black people that just hate their own people. Oh, they ain't gonna tell you that, but they do. They hate their own people, not like me and you. Where we bitter at these ignorant people, right? Or we dealing with hating, healthy hate, with hating these guilty, these ignorant black people. No, we ain't talking about that. We talking about people that's programmed to hate people, black people. They just hate their own people. You know, you got to look out for that. I don't trust nobody. Just because you black, you can hate black people to the bone. But I don't hate nobody I send my money to. Now, I'm just keeping it real. If I really hated you, I wouldn't even send my money to no black people. No, that ain't I don't care what problems I had. I can find other ministries to give to. I really can. I can find other ministries to give to where I would have the same type of protection, really. I mean, that's keeping it 100. So for me personally, when I give offerings to different churches, even under pressure, I mean, I'm winning. I'm a prophet on my own. You know what I'm saying? I you know, when I give to offerings to African American churches, like in the Treme community, like today, my money just hit the Treme community in New Orleans today. You think I'm worried about somebody disagreeing with me, man? No, man, listen. My money just hit the Treme community, man, and people be sitting up holding on to money, and they ain't doing what God want them to do. You gotta let them go, bro. Like to me, man, I mean, my cutoff game is just so hard. Like, it's kind of hard to do the same thing to me, cause I already did the same thing to you, probably. Man, I unsubscribed that person a long time ago when I just see certain things, man. When I already did that. So she don't know that. But I had already unsubscribed that person, stopped watching that person anyway. She probably knew because I wasn't commenting on the videos. You know what I'm saying? Because it's certain things I see. That's why I don't get offended. Somebody do the same thing to me, I probably already did it to you. And it's not out of a malicious place. It's just that I know that people got this American Christianity, bruh, that they can't get away from. And it's hard. It is really extremely hard to find a Christian that understands what their position is today in America. Man, you lucky if you find one like me. I'm telling you, you are absolutely lucky. You know what I'm saying? Because some people are so religious. That's the main thing. They so religious. They ain't gonna tell you to fight back. They ain't gonna tell you to stand up and fight. They ain't gonna tell you the difference between white Christianity and black Christianity. They gonna think that they being racist. I'm not being racist. It's the truth. It's not being racist. It's like I like to say, I'm not racist. I'm specific. If it's you, it's you. If it pertains to you, it pertains to you. How's that racist? I'm being Pacific to a Pacific race of people. But people are so sensitive. When you're Pacific, they think you're racist. If it's you though, right? Whether it's you attacking me and I'm fighting back. If it's you. How am I racist? Well, I'm supposed to say, oh, it's the Chinese people, but it's you. Come on, stop playing, bro. Stop playing, bro. And that's basically what it is, man. People expect you to get your feelings hurt. I don't get my feelings hurt. I promise you I don't. Because I've been disagreeing with Christians from day one. From day one, I ain't never really get along with American Christians, man. And I see why. You know, because they either don't do enough of the right things and they don't know what to do, or they're docile. You know, they don't really understand who America is. You don't supposed to be voting and nothing. How you gonna cut a stream off on a person that tells you Jesus Christ will not vote because you think you know Jesus like I do? You think you do. So I'm gonna just let it go. I'm just let it be. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you don't supposed to even be voting in this country at all. You're supposed to let this country fall apart. And that's that. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't got you. I got the satanic kingdom. And that's what I do pertain to, the principalities and all these powers. Ain't no way I'm letting you get in the way. You're not getting away. And even if I'm not going to die. But whether I live or die, you're not getting away. You're not getting away. I'm telling you right now, you're not getting away. So the best thing you could have done was to help God's servant. Because you're not going to get away. Whether I live or die, you're not getting away. I expect a so-called spiritual person to even understand that, bro. You know what I'm saying? They not getting away, bro. They not. How they gonna get away? When God will be even angrier if something happened to me. How they gonna get away? That's common sense, bro. Common sense. But like I said, man, listen. Listen. The one thing about me, especially when it comes to women, and this is not, I'm not being sexist, but cause people expect you to get your feelings hurt if a woman involved. You know what I'm saying? I'm a person that thinks like a king, right? A king doesn't get hurt by women. I see women as human beings. See, that's the highest level of understanding. A female is nothing but another human being to me. I don't get desensitized or I don't get deceived by a woman. You can't deceive me with a woman. They're just human beings. That's all. You know what I'm saying? And I talk to them like they're human beings. And that's it. I don't get razzle-dazzled by females and I can't see straight and I can't tell the truth and I'm going to be humble. I'm going to speak the truth for what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's the bottom line. If judgment is brought on women, it is what it is. Like, people don't want to accept it, but all the gang stalking that's being done, how cruel it is to me, that's how God feels about me. How you feel about Nancy is how God feels about me. And see, and that's your karma for you to see people like her suffer in the community. Now you see how it feels. I stand on that. Oh yeah. You know, my humanity might be expressed here and there, but I stand on the principle that you have to see them type of people. That's part of your karma, to see them type of people suffer. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because God feels the same way about his people that you feel about Nancy. He feels the same way about his people. And now you see. Now you see through her. And it ain't gonna change. I don't change that. I stand on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the person that just have compassion on everybody and anybody. No. Because some people, man, they cause that to happen to their community. These Americans cause stuff like this to happen. Because when you play with God's people, I guarantee you God gonna come back and play with you, buddy. And you know what I mean? He gonna come back and play with you. And you gonna see and God ain't having no mercy. That's why she was not found, buddy. Why she ain't found then? All the prayers, why she ain't found? Explain that. Because America is not with God any longer. You know what I'm saying? And now you're just going through the motions. Half of y'all ain't got no heart to serve God at all, bro. God, you don't got no love for God. God is not in your heart. Let's keep it 100. You might think about God from here and there during certain times, but do you got a heart for God that you just love him as a being? No, you don't. And that's what I'm saying. You don't. So that's not who you are. But in a time of wickedness, when things happen now, all of a sudden, everybody and their mama, now they Christians. Because that's obvious. In a time of struggle, that's what's going to happen. But I can show you in Jeremiah what God said, I'm not going to help these people. See, that's the real Christianity. What God told Jeremiah, don't pray for him, don't cry for him. That's what God told Jeremiah. Now you either accept that or you remain a docile Christian. You got docile Christianity. Because God's nature is right there, expressed right there. That's not all his nature, but this is the part that you leave out. This is why I'm showing you. This is the part of the nature of God. This is why I'm gonna do a whole series on the nature of God, because people think God's nature is lovey-dovey all the time. God's nature is not lovey-dovey all the time with everybody. Okay? And you can't convince some American Christians that that's true. It's true. He said he ain't lovey-dovey with everybody. Some people face the wrath of God. It's that simple. Now, if you choose not to shed light on that, and that don't mean nothing to you, and you just look around and you blind to stuff, and it don't mean nothing to you to incorporate that in your understanding of God, okay, that's you. I incorporate that into my understanding of who God is. That sometimes God would tell you, just like he told Jeremiah, don't pray for him, don't cry for him, and when they ask me for help, I will not listen. That's what God said. That's the nature of God, buddy. And see, that's the part that you kind of want to leave off when you got a nice Christianity. That nice Christianity, we just gonna look at that, but that don't, you see what I'm saying? But you ain't really letting that sink in, you might be in that position. See, life works in a long cycle, right? Where you might be in that same position. And you don't know no better because you've been taught American Christianity to love, love, love all the time. The Bible does not even say that. So it ain't Christianity that's weak. It's people's understanding of Christianity that is weak. Your understanding of Christianity is weak. Okay, it is. It is. If the Bible says a time of love and a time to hate, okay, so Christians ain't weak. It's their understanding that made them weak like that in America. So it ain't Christianity. It's not Christianity. God said it's a time of hate. Boom. God ain't weak. No, God is not. You just follow a weak Christianity, a weak form of Christianity. It's not my fault. I'm telling the truth. It's not God's fault. See, you can't blame God when it's right here in the Bible. This is why I'm all about this word. Because see, if you're not careful, people will use certain scriptures and then you just go along with it. No, I'm going to show you other scriptures that you overlooking. That part, that's 7 out. I'm going to show you scriptures that you overlooking. I'm going to show you scriptures that you're not paying attention to. And that's going to be just as potent and correct as the scriptures that you're referencing to. And that's what people don't want to do. See what I'm saying? You don't want to hold the full word of God. You ain't got the full word of God. So I just laugh at people, man. Because listen, you don't got the whole word of God. You don't. You don't, bro. You don't, man. You don't. So don't get mad at me, man. Listen, don't get mad at me. You know what I'm saying? Be careful when you put your mouth on me, bro. Because listen, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about God and how he don't play about me, bro. Because I listen, he knows that I'm trying to help you. If anything, I'm trying to help you because I feel like you dealing with the same problem I'm dealing with. Okay, so then in that, I feel like I can shed light on some things and inspire you. You know what I'm saying? But then if you take it a different type of way and you don't want the real solutions, hey, listen, it's all good. It's all good, bro. No love lost, man. Because no love was found. You know what I'm saying? It is just what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just understanding, man, people just don't understand, the fullness of God's word, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it's many people that never even don't know how to read the Bible. They just open it up and read it. You got to find the parts where there's teaching. Some of it is history, like the wars in the Bible. Then there's teachings. And you got to be able to have somebody to show you where the teaching's at. You can't just open up the Bible. You know what I'm saying? You're going to read a lot of history and you don't know where to find the teachings. The teachings are in Proverbs. And Proverbs is one of the main places where you can find the teachings. You can read a proverb every single day. So that's what my habit used to be, is to read a proverb every day, because there's 31 of them, right? There's 31 proverbs. So you can read one. Each one, you can read one for whatever day of the year, of the month it is, right? So what's the day? The 17th? Okay, so you can read the 17th proverb. And then the next day, the 18th, 19th, 20th. And each day, that's a healthy way to get the word of God in. You know what I'm saying? This is why I'm like I am. I'm like AI with the word. I'm like AI with the word, bro. You can't tell me I'm not being arrogant. I just know this word. That's why I'm like, see, people didn't know I was like this, because I have these conversations about the streets. I have these conversations about principles. But see, that's why I'm even like I am with the streets. It's all about principles, man. And if you don't line up even with the streets on principles, if you go out here and violate, I can show people that's in the streets, like these gang stalkers that made mistakes in how the streets, yeah, I can be a judge in that situation and show you, based on how they feel, you came out here and you messed up the community. You deserve death. And God is going to bring that death. The streets feel that way, though, because you seen who I was a long time ago. It ain't no confusion. It ain't no confusion about understanding nothing, buddy. You understood who I was a long time ago, and you ain't going to Jedi mind trick me and act like you don't understand. You don't need to understand me. First of all, you don't need to understand me. I'm talking about the gang stalkers. You don't need the police. The police don't need to understand me. What they need to understand about me? Sucker, you don't need to understand me. You don't need to understand me at all. Long as I ain't doing no crimes, you don't need to understand me, sucker. It's that simple. You don't have nobody. Well, we don't understand him. You don't need to understand me. What you need to understand me for? They don't need to understand you. They sitting up talking about stuff they don't need to do. Well, we don't understand him. You don't need to understand me. That's your problem. Okay, so here we go. It's Proverbs, the 6th chapter, the 16th verse. There are 6 things that the Lord hates. Let me let you see that, because maybe you think I ain't eating in the Bible. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, so this side, right there, where my finger is. There are 6 things that the Lord hates, even 7 that are disgusting to him. Arrogant eyes, a lying tongue, hands that kill innocent people, a mind devising wicked plans, feet that are quick to do wrong, a dishonest witness spitting out lies, and a person who spread conflict among relatives. God hates these things. You see that, right? So if you notice, the last 2 things were entities. A dishonest witness is a person. God hates a dishonest witness, which is a person. The last thing is a person, it says literally. And a person who spreads conflict among relatives. God hates those people. Let's read it again with this understanding. There are 6 things that the Lord hates, even 7 that are disgusting to him. Arrogant eyes, a lying tongue, hands that kill innocent people, a mind devising wicked plans, feet that are quick to do wrong, a dishonest witness, spitting out lies, and a person who spreads conflict among relatives. The last one is definitely entity, a person. It says the Lord hates 7 things, and the last one is a person who spreads conflict among relatives. Now, you either get with it or you don't, buddy. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro. See, if you love at the wrong time, that's why you perish. You got to know when to hate. You got to know when to hate. And some people are just so arrogant, they think they know it all, right? And people pat them on their back and everything, and you really can't tell them the truth. And it's right here in the word, right? Okay, so either way it go, I can show you, even if we talking about physical, even if we was talking about physical, I can show you what God's people fall physically. I can show you that. I mean, so it's not a sin to have this perspective. It's just knowing when to do it. But this person act like it's a sin to have that perspective. I can show you in the Old Testament where when God's nature never changes. God brought his people to go to war and physically kill people, whether you accept it or not. And that's the difference between docile Christianity in America and the real McCoy, buddy. This is the Bible. This is the Bible, not me. And you got that. That's why it's real Christianity versus American Christianity, bro. That's what I'm telling you, man. That's another war that's going on right now, because people are starting to realize, okay, we do gotta kind of do something about this. hey, that's what the American Christian gonna say, ain't it? Hey, we kind of gotta do something about this. We kind of gotta do something, huh? Yeah. And it's not gonna be just a little prayer. I'm telling you, it's nationwide. How you gonna do a little prayer and it's all gone? You have to get in a consistent position of fasting and giving offerings and consistently. That means for years and years and years. This is why I'm in my position. People know I've been doing this for years. And now here comes the harvest, the reciprocity. It's like almost having the mind of a kid. Well, he seems like such a mean guy. You got the mind of a child, man. It's wartime. We live in the real world among real men and women. And the truth is, that's another problem. People haven't grown up, man. You're not mature. You're not mature enough to understand that, in a perfect world, I wouldn't want war. Nobody would. But if people are consistent and they still playing with me, then that's what it is. You see how simple it is. It ain't nothing else. It ain't anger. It's not turn up. It's not pulling up on somebody. It's not none of that. You play with me, you get in war. That simple as that. It's that simple. It's not hard to understand, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just understanding that you have white Christianity and you don't have black Christianity. Because see, the difference is black Christianity is going to understand that I deal with racist white people in America. Going back, let's start from the beginning. Black Christians understood I gotta fight against these white people. So then obviously, if they still coming, I'm praying, but they still here. No, hold up. I'm praying, but they're still here. This is the beginning of gang stalking. This is the beginning of this stuff. I'm praying, but they're still here. So then what happens? You gotta turn up, bro. You gotta start doing way more fasting. You gotta get in and dig in and do more fasting and give more offerings. And I guarantee you, ain't no way in the world you're gonna tell me God ain't gonna do nothing for you. And even back then, the concept was, the offering never left because it was in the Bible. Even during the times of slavery, it's been there all along. You just thought you had to have $1 million today. That's what you're thinking. The slaves could have gave 5 cents as an offering. They could have gave anything, $1. Black people could have gave $1 to God. God is going to honor anything you give. Your hang up is how much it is. That's never the situation. It has to be a sacrifice. See, the power of a sacrifice is what's destroying these people. They think I got to have $1 million. Nope. You forgot about the element of the sacrifice. Long as it's a sacrifice, it's powerful, more powerful than you realize, because it's my all. It's everything I got. That's the energy behind it too that you forgot. If I give God my all and it ain't number $10, that's powerful because it's all I got. And God is going to look at that. You forgot about that, didn't you? See, you like with these dumb Americans hung up on the amount that it is. I'm talking about these gang stalkers and all of them people. You thought I gave $10, that was nothing. That's peanuts, right? That ain't even a peanut. That's half a peanut, right? And except the element of sacrifice you forgot about. The element of sacrifice. The element of sacrifice. When it's everything I got. See, boy, listen, see, that's how you know I'm a real giver. Because listen, I talk about the element of sacrifice. Yeah, that part. Where, listen, it ain't the same amount every time. Sometimes it ain't number $5. But it's my all. It's all I got. You think God ain't gonna be pleased by that? Yes, he is. So on our side, it ain't all about money, buddy. No pun intended. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. It's about the side. It's about the sacrifice. In essence, it's always about the sacrifice. Because if I got $1 billion and I give God $50, God gonna look at you like, you got $1 billion and you give me $50. You want me to do what? With $50. And you got billions of dollars. You didn't tap into the element of sacrificing. You always got to. You always got to do it. You always have to sacrifice, no matter what. That's it right there. You always got to sacrifice, no matter how much you're giving. It's always got to be a sacrifice. That's the power behind the offering, is the sacrifice. That's what it's all about. Long as you're doing that, your enemy's sleeping on you, buddy. I can never say, or you can, what God is going to do with the offering as a sacrifice when it's all that you got. You see what I'm saying? Oh, it matters to God. That's all that matters. And that's all that matters. That it matters to him. Okay, you don't have to agree with it. I'm a veteran, man. I know what I'm doing here. I'm telling you from experience. I gave my first offering 26 years ago. I gave my first $100 25 years ago. You ain't dealing with 25 in the year 2000. I gave my first $100. $125 actually. I can remember exactly how much it was. I was 18, a teenager, giving $125 and you ain't never done it in your life. That's why I do not respect people that don't know what they talk about. You don't know the principles. I've been working this principle, man, and people still ain't got on with it. It's 2026, man. You still don't know what you're doing. You still think this is just giving money to a church. You listen, and then I can show you in the Bible. You think I'm stupid? Of course, there's con artists out there. Of course, there's people that steal money and con people for money in Christianity. But the principle is real. That's how they even get the con. How you think they successfully do it to a Christian? Because the principle is in the Bible and they manipulate it. But if it was no principle, how they could manipulate a Christian? Talking about giving money. Because they know it's in the Bible. That's why, dummy. They know it's in the Bible. They got a whole bunch of scriptures that's in the Bible where you give offerings. That's how they can even manipulate in the first place. No, you don't even listen. You ain't even realize that. How you think they manipulate in the first place? And you got a religious person, and they could easily shoot you down talking about giving some offerings. A real Christian, if it wasn't in the Bible, how they can manipulate all these people then? Because it's in the Bible. You think about it. That's how they can do it in the first place. Okay, so you can't disagree with the concept, and anytime there's some money to be made, there's going to be a con artist. I don't care what it is. Of course there's going to be a con artist. That goes without, but that doesn't mean the principle is wrong. That doesn't mean the concept is wrong. You got to clear your mind. You got to clear your mind. That's all you got to do. And so when I start fasting for like 7 days and better, I begin to understand the offering as my servanthood to God. See, but if you ain't a servant to God, you ain't gonna give no money to God's work because you ain't a servant. A servant wants to please his master in any way. See that part? That's the 7th hour. You ain't got to that level of Christianity. Now you want to please God with your money. Now you want to please God with your offering. Now you want to bring money to God's work so God's work gets done. Now you have become a servant of God. No, no, listen. That's boring information to you ain't. Not to me. If you're a real servant, that ain't no boring information. Yes, depending on who you're talking to. See, you ain't really no servant of God. Oh no, you can say you're a Christian, but you ain't no servant. Well, how you serving God if you're a servant of God? To be a servant of God, what are you serving God? You're not serving him with your life. You're not serving him with no offerings. You're not serving him with fastings and prayers. You're not serving him in any way. How you a servant? See, this is how you get past all these people talking about they're a Christian. Okay, you say you're a Christian. Okay, listen, hey. Are you a servant of God? That's where you get people right there, don't you? Are you a servant of God? You ain't a servant of God, are you? No, you're not. You know that. How you a servant of God? Ask these rappers. They'll say they Christians, right? That ain't what a real servant. That ain't what a real man of God and woman of God gonna ask. Not if you a Christian. Are you a servant of God? You're not a servant of God. You're not, are you? No, you know darn well you ain't no servant of God. Stop playing. So it's better to ask people, are you a servant of God? You know they ain't gonna say yes. Ain't nobody gonna say yes. You're gonna look like a complete maniac talking about yes. And you know you don't serve God nothing. How you a servant of God and you don't serve God anything? Make it make sense. Make it make sense where you're a servant of God but you don't serve God anything. You're not a servant of God. That's how we weed these people out. Everybody and their mama talking about they Christians. Okay, but you ain't a servant of God. You supposed to be a servant. You're not though, right? Okay. Jesus said himself, if you love me, keep my commandments, right? That's what Jesus said. If you love me, keep my commandments. Okay, so that's how he classified love, is that you keep his commandments. You're not doing that, right? Okay, that's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. You're not a servant. I can show you I'm a servant. Oh, people know that. When I show the concept and they look at my life and I'm always seeking the Lord, come on, man. I don't do it for show, but you people know. I'm offering up everything that I care about. I'm giving it all up. I make it look easy. It's not as easy as I make it look. Now I'm talking about, now I'm going on 2 years with no sex. With all that stuff you was talking about. With them dudes. 2 years. It's 2 years later next month. It's already 2 years technically. Oh yeah, it is. 2 years ago. I ain't smoked weed. The latest one I'm waiting for, I ain't smoked weed in 2 years. I ain't smoked cigarettes in almost 2 years. Next month will be 15 days, will be 2 years. To be exact. 15 more days, it will be 2 years since I smoked weed and cigarettes. You can't keep up, can you? It's already 2 years. You ain't seen me with no dudes. Nope. Just like that. 2 years. 2 years. Going into plural. Going on the 3rd year now. Listen, bro. You can't even talk about that with a straight face. When you see me with a guy. That's 2 years ago. And that wasn't even consistent. It wasn't nothing consistent ever about it. Last time you seen me consistent was 5 years ago. Going on 6 years ago. Down in Florida with that one dude, right? That was 5 years ago. That was 2020. At the end of COVID. Yeah, you forgot, didn't you? Show me when I was ever consistent again living with a man, living with somebody. Show me when I was consistent again doing it. That's 5 years ago, half a decade ago. That's half a decade ago. You wasn't paying attention because you're silly. You're not paying. I would be paying attention to technicalities. Oh, we ain't seen him with a man in like 5 years. Not day by day. Oh, he might have had a little fling here and there, but he ain't even spend the night with no man. He ain't even spend a night with nobody over 2 or 3 days. He ain't never stayed with a man consistently for 5 years in over a week. A person that wasn't with him went over a week. Not even 3 days. He wasn't consistently with a man in 3 days for 5 years. For 5 years. Now you get it, don't you, little buddy? See, you so goofy, you weren't paying to things right. You weren't paying attention to things right in your face. Boom. That's 7 out. Oh, 5 years ago. You talking about something 5 years ago. Stupid. Stupid. I ain't smoked weed in almost 2 years. Boom. 15 more days, it's going to be 2 years. When the last time you seen me smoke a cigarette? So you talking about stuff happened 2 years ago. You know how long 2 years is? These days, with all this stuff going on, 2 years. You know how long that is? That's 2028. That's 2028, February 17th. You know how long that's gonna be to get to 2028, February 17th. That's how long it is. That's how long it is, buddy. Then I ain't smoked no cigarettes, ain't smoked no weed. That's why I ain't worried about the other little stuff. Cause God is looking at the bigger picture. My servant ain't been out here with no man. My servant ain't been with no woman in almost a year. My last wife, that was over a year. Next month, it's going to be a year since I had sex. I ain't never been this long without sex. And what you think it is? It ain't because I lost my mind. Listen, I'm better than ever, buddy. Little do you know, I'm better than ever, buddy. Listen, you can't be serious. Listen, buddy. Listen, the little psychological stuff you doing, that don't mean nothing to me. I've been through that 1,000,000 times, sucker. Try going through it from state to state. I've been through all that knocking around on the door, knocking around and moving around. I've been through that all in Florida, man. They ain't tell you that. They should have told you that. Oh, they didn't want you to think. They didn't want you to know about it because they knew you would be discouraged. Well, if you knew I've been through this same stuff, knocking around on the walls and the floors and all this psychological sound campaigns, if you knew I already been through that 5 years ago, over 5 years ago, what would you think? Oh, well, this ain't gonna work. Exactly. In fact, you're gonna think what you should think. He's a veteran. I know all about that little psychological stuff they doing, man. That don't mean nothing to me no more. I don't care about that. That's why it don't move me. That's why I still can do what I do. Because I've been through it so many times. Even these gang stalkers talking reckless, but I just demand more respect because I've raised up in rank. I'm more high-ranking than yesterday. I'm more high-ranking than 2-3 years ago. That's right. That's right. I know when I increase in power. Okay, I have increased in power and I'm not taking nothing off these bums. I'm not taking nothing off no bums. I'm not, little buddy. I'm not. I don't compete with people. I don't compete with other Christians because I already know, man. You already tell me you ain't on these levels anyway. Man, no, man. Because if I don't know I don't know how it happens, but I think it's I think it's a certain doctrine that people got in their head, because if you was really spiritual, then God would have revealed it to you that that you have to go to war with these people. You have to. That means, I'm not saying people lack understanding. I'm not saying you got to physically go and run and go and get in the car and start bucking at people. I'm not saying that. But you got to go to war with the people. Okay, you got to. And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Do you do it physically? No, but you can't Jedi mind trick me and make me feel like I'm talking about physical, and I made it clear I'm not. I'm talking about, I'm not going to be stupid enough to incriminate myself and tell you to go out here and shoot somebody. Come on now. So then I'm not talking about that. I ain't never, if you lack understanding, then you do. Just say you do. No, I ain't never say I was like, go come out. I ain't tell you to go out here and buck somebody down. You know what I'm saying? I ain't tell you to go out here and shoot somebody. Okay then. You ain't hear me at no time say go shoot somebody, go kill somebody, insinuate some. When somebody say, is it physical? Or it's physical for them? Yes, it's physical for them because they have a physical operation. If you walk outside and you use your physical body, how is it not physical? You playing with somebody's mind. Somebody could kill themselves for that. I wouldn't, because I don't care enough to do it. I don't care what you talk about. But someone else might lose their mind from going through these physical operations of gang stalking, because these people are out here physically. So when I say yes, is it physical? It's not physical on my behalf. It's physical on their behalf. That's what makes us oppose them as enemies, because of their physical position. See, that's how they get by on people that's docile. They'll say, well, we ain't doing nothing physically. Yes, you are doing something physically. Aren't you physically out here? Aren't you physically gang stalking? Aren't you physically moving? Yes, then it is physical. And that was my definition, what I just said to that person that I was on a live stream with. Yeah, it's physical. It's physical for them because they are out here physically in the gang stalking. Now, do I believe we got to go out here physically? No, but we do have to use spiritual weapons against people, against physical people. So so if you just don't that's why I came in with that person on the live stream and told her from the very beginning, we got to use fasting. From my understanding, if somebody tell me fasting from the very beginning, and I listen to them, I know they ain't talking about nothing physical. To physically go out here. That's the first thing I said. I hit the ground running. I said, these people hate fasting, right? So how would I be talking about something physical when I said something about fasting? People just don't want to do the right thing. That's all it is. You don't want to fast and you don't want to give no money. That's two things. It's the hardest things for people to do to win the war. That's why I takes this. I make it look easy. I make it look easy putting money in the mailbox. You know what I'm saying? I make it look easy fasting for a couple days here, a couple days there, 7 days here, 10 days here. I make it look easy because that's my level. This is my level that I'm on. You know what I'm saying? I should be able to navigate easily on my level. You know what I'm saying? But I make it look easy to people, man. You know what I'm saying? But, the truth is, man, people don't understand, physically, this person asked me, okay, are you talking about it's physical as against physical? Some way she put it like that. To me, I would have just said it like this, because physical can be interpreted. Do you believe in going out here and physically going to war? Physically going to war? No, that's not what we have to do. But we gonna affect them physically with spiritual weapons, and that's what I proved to do. So they think they might get away because I said that. No, you're not getting away. I just don't physically go out here. I don't have to. If it ain't broke, why would I fix it? I'm doing great without going out here physically. So why would I go out here and it's a drop in the bucket and do something to some random person? It don't mean nothing to me. That's why I don't believe in terrorism. I don't believe in terrorism because it's not effective. I'm more effective spiritually. Why would I go out here physically when I'm more effective spiritually, like I'm supposed to be? So if you would have listened from the very beginning, I made it clear that you go out here spiritually. With fasting, they can't stand it. So for me, your mind is already in the right place about this. You fasting against these people. So I wouldn't have been confused at all because you came in talking about spiritual weapons. So you talking about something that's not physical. Then I explained it to her. I said, no, I'm not talking about going out here physically. That's why the feds would never be able to get me because I ain't gonna talk about doing no physical operations. I then explained it. So it was no excuse. There's no excuse. I explained it. I clarified that. I believe their position is physical because gang stalking is a physical operation. Yes, it is. It can affect somebody psychologically, but with being in their path physically. That's why I don't play nobody, put no pressure on me. You step in my path, I'm cursing you. It's that simple. I'm not one of these ignorant Christians. I know I have legal right to curse you. You know, just like the prophet Elijah, he cursed children and they died. Okay, so it's some people that don't believe in certain levels of Christianity. And I'm going to do a message about that. That's 7 hours. You just don't believe in certain levels of Christianity. That's what it is. You don't believe in certain levels of Christianity, and I do. I believe, hey, listen, even children can be cursed. And how I prove that? With the Bible. Not my opinion or yours. The prophet Elijah cursed the children and they died. Now see, that level of Christianity, you're not ready for. Just admit it. See, that's the next levels. The next levels is these things I'm talking about. See, you thought you was on the next level, didn't you? Because you got a little anointing going on. You thought you was on the next level. Nah, this is the next level. It's the next level with information too. Where you curse anything moving. You curse any human being moving. You curse them. You curse anything that's against you. When it's in the context of this war and gang stalking and all of this. I'm not telling you nothing that's not in the Bible. You just don't accept this level of Christianity. That's what it is. It's in the Bible, and you know that. You know it's wars, and even physical wars. I can even, listen, even though I'm not using physical weapons today, I still can show you physical wars in the Bible. Where God's people physically kill people. It's so if you're insinuating that it's unholy or it's not right to do it, then explain why it's in the Bible then. See to me, right there, I don't let my logic and my common sense go past that point. That's just why I gotta leave you right there. That's it. That's all, bro. I mean, you know, if you can't grasp that as a concept and accept that on what it's on the terms that it is, you can't accept that on the terms that it is. That's your hang up. That's a hang up because it doesn't fit your form of Christianity. You want to be in this nice type of Christianity where you happy and nice, and that's not the real world we live in, bro. And even with nice elements and being nice to everybody, you still gonna have real things that happen in life. Where you go to war, well, you have to go to war. Then what? You ain't gonna have that nice Christian kind of life that you want. But you gotta live. You gotta survive. And that's what the Bible shows us. It don't show us all these nice stories of people just hanging out and being Christians and hanging out or being God's people. They have to go through real war. You know what I'm saying? They go through real war, right? And so you either choose that level of Christianity or you don't. That it's a level. Yes, it is. It's a level. And everybody's not on it. That's why they gonna die. Many of them gonna die. God said his people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. I'm not wishing it on you. But you know, with all this witchcraft, if you already being gang stalked and you don't believe that God gonna do something about it, then what's gonna happen? I mean, if you don't use your spiritual weapons against these people, not, oh, I'm gonna fast and just see what happens and God just gonna do some other stuff. Nah, buddy. You come into the fast with your faith that God is going to do this specific thing to them. You see what I'm saying? Without faith, it is impossible to please God. You got to have your faith in the same area, because you could doubt that God would do something to them. See, the truth is, y'all, some people doubt that God would do something to these people. Because your Christianity is so nice, you painted the nature of God as this nice God that would never do nothing to nobody, not even your enemies. That he just wants you to love them and it's all going to work out. That's what kind of Christianity you got. Until you look in the Bible and see, okay, God will do this, God will do that. God don't allow this, and God don't allow that. That's right. And so now you got the real Christianity. See, until you go through some real wars long enough, and see, if you went state to state being gang stalked, you will be convinced that something has to be done. You know what I'm saying? But long as you local with it, you think it's a back and forth tussle, little back and forth tussle with you and some dudes, some little scrambling and tussling. Go state to state and see it all over the country like I did. And I guarantee you're gonna be on a whole nother level of understanding what gotta be done about it. You gotta fast against these people. It's nationwide. You see what I'm saying? So how it's gonna ever stop for you? It's nationwide. So how it's gonna stop? A little prayer. So what's your plan to make it stop? Well, maybe you're not that high ranking enough. You don't want it to stop. You ain't gonna do nothing to make it stop. I'm gonna do something to make it stop, buddy. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do something to make this stop. That's what I'm talking about. That's, in essence, that's all I'm talking about. Okay, so I didn't, if even with that person, I explained it. Even though she asked me that question, I still explained it. It's on the video. I'm not talking about physical, but their part is physical. If you gang stalking, you done got up out your bed like an animal and went out here in the community. That's a physical operation. It is. You just looking at they not using weapons. I don't care about that. You are physically out here in a certain physical position. And because you are in other people's way, something has to be done about you. That's right. You are in people's way. You are here in people's face. Something got to be done about you. And that's that, man. So that's why I'm effective and other people are not, bro. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm effective. You know what I'm saying? And I listen. It ain't no problem for me to move on, man. I recently don't even talk to my mom. You think I'm going to be brokenhearted not talking to these females that's talking about Christian? Because my mom, she might follow us. I think her Christianity ain't like mine either. No, it's not. Not told, no. You got to move on, bro. Like, you can't break my heart. I recently left my mom behind going on 3 weeks ago. I don't get my heart broken no more, bro. I'm a soldier. I move on. That's all I do. I move on. And I move on from black people. I move on from all these folks. I move on from Americans, not even broken-hearted, bro. I'm a survivor. I'm a soldier. I've been called a soldier. I've been esteemed as a soldier by military. It's one thing for the streets to call you a soldier. It's one thing for somebody that enlisted into the U.S. military to call you a soldier. So that's just me. That's my level. That's what that a soldier told me. He said, I see a soldier. I see a soldier. That's what I see in you. Right? That's it, bro. Like I wasn't even talking. I wasn't even saying nothing. I was partying. I was partying and people still could see. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some people can't, some people can, bro. So I've been esteemed as a soldier by military, you know what I'm saying? I'm a natural soldier boy. You know what I'm saying? That's what they call them, the naturals. I'm a natural soldier boy. Some people ain't built like that. I am. I got the whole psychology, everything. It ain't all about shoot 'em up. It's the whole militant mindset. You know what I'm saying? How you apply war and strategies of war to every situation, any given situation. And it's not just physically fighting people. It's also being able to handle the elements of being out in the world. Homeless and everything like that. It takes a soldier to go through that kind of psychology. Those circumstances. If you ain't built for it, you get homeless. Some people want to kill themselves. Okay, it's easy to look at a homeless man and think it's easy. But it's not as easy as it looks for a weak person. You be on the streets and you ain't got no food. You got to fend for yourself every day. And you don't know what tomorrow gonna bring, and you ain't got nobody with you. You know what I'm saying? If you got weak psychology, you gonna break. That's why I laugh at these people in this building. I mean, I've been on the streets. You can't break no man been on the streets. You can't break me. I've been on the streets sleeping under bridges, man. Ain't no way in the world you can break somebody like me. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, bro. And it's not gonna happen. I'm just too strong for it. I done endured way worse than you being on the streets. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't get in the building and you drive me crazy. And I got a bed to lay in and food to eat. You can't drive me crazy on no circumstance. And a phone too, and all of that. And a shower to use, and a bath too, and a toilet to use. How you gonna listen? You used to them domesticated Americans. These toy poodle, teacup poodles, lap dogs. You used to lap dogs, ain't you? I'm a wild dog, buddy. You can't listen. I've been on the streets. I don't live. I'm just letting people know. I do have to say it because you trying me like I'm a domestic teacup poodle. That's why I have to say it. Cause I'm going by the test and the little lame stuff you're doing, knocking around on the wall. That ain't gonna do nothing to no man been on the streets. They ain't gonna do nothing to me. And why you think it hasn't? Has it done something? No. I'm going through my own little struggles. Things that other things, and you gonna always be doing what you're doing. And when you see somebody going through a struggle, you're gonna try to take credit for it. As a witchcraft person. I'm talking about they gonna think that's cause of them. They ain't cause of you. Don't flatter yourself. I'm going through other things besides you, but because you're always there, when you go through a struggle, they gonna think they got something to do with them. Think about it. They gonna always be gang stalking, right? Okay, so when you finally go through a struggle, they gonna think that their witchcraft is effective. Flattering themselves. Let them think that. Listen, I know what I'm going through over here. That's why I'm up now. You see where I'm at now? Okay, so if you was effective, I wouldn't be doing the little videos. No, I'd be doing something else. I'd be out in the streets. If you was really effective, you ain't gonna see me. Listen, buddy, I got sobriety. I ain't had sex with a woman in almost a whole year. You think I'm worried about this other little stuff? Nope. God is looking at the bigger picture. My servant haven't smoked no weed, smoked no cigarettes. He ain't drinking. I ain't drinking or nothing. You think I'm worried about anything else? I'm sober and clean as a whistle. You think you beating me? I guess you don't know who I am. You don't know who I am, buddy. You ain't beating me. I'm clean as a whistle, doing very good. That's what I'm looking at. I ain't smoking no weed, smoking no cigarettes, especially cigarettes. I ain't smoking no cigarettes no more. Shoot, man, I used to go, man, listen, I could get cigarettes on credit. I ain't have to bum no cigarettes off nobody. I can go to the store, to a bodega, and get cigarettes on credit. Beer, cigarettes, everything on credit. Because I'm good for paying it back. I pay my dues back. I used to go get cigarettes, beer, everything on credit. I want me a pack of cigarettes, boom, I go get me a pack of cigarettes. Get it on credit, get everything on credit. Get beer on credit, everything. 40s, getting 40, Old English, drinking Old English on credit, everything. Give me 2 40s, give me 2 or 3. Give me 2 or 3 40s, give me some pack of cigarettes. Why I'm gonna get 140? I'm gonna get 2 or 3. That's how I used to live. And now I don't smoke. I'm not drinking. You think I'm worried about any little lame little stuff they talking about? Man, come on, you can't be serious. They didn't tell you who I was. That's why you can't gauge the progress. I don't care about that. I don't care about these other little things I'm going through. I'm winning my wars. These lames listen, you ain't nowhere near me. See, I know what my seasons are. You know what my seasons is? Besides going to war, sobriety, cleanliness, no smoking weed, no alcohol. You ain't got me doing that, you losing. Because I have been frustrated and went back to smoking. I have been frustrated and went back to drinking. I'm being real. I have. But not this time. Not this time. I ain't went back to smoking and drinking this time. I got this. I got this, buddy. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm sending over $1 million to different countries and everything like that. I'm winning my wars. That's why I try to help people. But you know what I'm saying? I can show you how to do it. But if you think you can tell me what I'm doing, you can tell me what I'm doing. Come on, bro. Listen. You got a long way to understand. See, it's gonna take a person like that to go to another state and see the same thing. Then you're gonna throw your hands up, and then you're gonna be willing to tell you. Then you're gonna be willing to listen to what I'm telling you. See, why you in the geographics? Most human being psychology is just gonna limit that to, you ain't gonna believe that it's everywhere because you haven't seen it everywhere. So you're gonna just limit it to, you're gonna more personalize it towards these certain people. I don't even personalize it towards certain people. They are dropping the bucket. It's everywhere. So then you begin to launch spiritual attacks on a national scale to get rid of all of this stuff. You just thinking about your little situation. This is everywhere. So then how you gonna attack then? When you know it's everywhere. Oh, a little prayer, well then it's everywhere though. And then that's when you become nationwide with your spiritual warfare. See, the truth is you just not nationwide with your spiritual warfare. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not on that level. I'm nationwide and everybody know it. Oh, they know it. Oh, they know. The prophet is nationwide with his attack, his spiritual attack. That's right. That's right. And see, that's the next level. You know, but if you ain't really, you know, you ain't never been nowhere else, really a couple different places here and there kind of situation, kind of same culture and everything, and you ain't went cross country and seen all of this over there on the West Coast, then you gon' just limit it to your situation kind of. You gonna think about the little run-ins around the way on the East Coast. That's all you gonna think about. If you go coast to coast and you see it everywhere, that's when you're gonna go to war, bro. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't go to war, in spiritual war, until I went to the West Coast. See, that's the punchline. I actually did what I'm telling you. That's how it happened to you, because that's how it happened to me. Once you've been gang stalked in Florida, North Carolina, that's where I was at. Let's just use me. I've been gang stalked in Florida, North Carolina, right? It wasn't until I left Florida that I went to the West Coast. And once I went to the West Coast, then I realized, okay, boom, this is everywhere. This is everywhere. Yeah, man.
You got mail.
What?
Mail.
Oh, okay. See, coast to coast, you go through this coast to coast, it's a whole different situation. It's a whole different situation, man. You know, and that's just what it is. You know. You know, I try to help people, but I just know what it is, man. It's a coast to coast situation. And so think about it. You either one of these soldiers that's just like in your little personal situation and everything, and then the little people online, this stuff that you know is gonna happen. You know this is gonna happen. You know it's gonna be trolls if you got views, and it don't even matter. It's not even, some of them are not even gang stalkers. Some of them are just trolls, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. It's like, I mean, so, you know, just getting paranoid and thinking everybody, I'm not saying you flattering yourself, but just thinking everybody on your live stream is a gang stalker, is flattering yourself in America. I mean, it's all kind of people, trolls out there. They might see a good looking woman and just want to troll the woman. You know what I'm saying? All kind of stuff. That's how you know I can't get paranoid, because I realize full life and what it consists of, man. You know, people want to jab at you, get a rise out of you. They might just because they think you're a good-looking woman. They want to get a rise out of you. You know what I'm saying? They want to get you ruffle your feathers a little bit. You got them type of people. You know, but the bottom line is, man, I've been gang stalked from Florida to North Carolina, where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? And when I went to the West Coast, to California, and then I seen Florida tags, like people done like went crazy and drove all the way across country over there back in 2008, right? That's when I first went to San Francisco. So, you know, I went over there and everybody was aware, the American community was aware that I was being gang stalked on a national level. Everyone knew, specifically for me. So see, I mean, if you haven't been through it like I have, maybe you don't know, okay? Because this person might have thought they was a veteran over me. Man, the whole culture know about me. Literally, they don't know you, but they know me. They know the culture, all the people, man. These rappers and singers, all these people know me. I'm not stupid. I can read between the lines. They know me. You know, they might overlook you for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? But my brother was my enemy. He kept this alive. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that he did. The Freemasons kept it alive. The police kept it alive. You know what I'm saying? And maybe, you know, you wasn't gang stalked by the police. Maybe you dealt with the little Freemason gang stalkers. I dealt with police gang stalkers. Like on the streets. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So, you know, I've been through that. Where I walked from one state to the next. I walked from Florida to Georgia. You know what I'm saying? On foot while being gang stalked. You know what I'm saying? And I walked, and then I went to California after that and seen the gang stalkers over there. That's when I went to war officially. It was up until that point, I was halfway like they are. Halfway like they are. Just halfway kind of, you know, I'm gonna sidestep this, I'm gonna sidestep that. But then when I seen that it was in California, I threw my hands up. I knew then, like, okay, because you're gonna think, okay, maybe this is a wet East Coast thing. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of racism on the East Coast. On the West Coast, it's not a lot of racism like that. You know, it's there. You know, it's always gonna be American mentality, but it's a whole different culture of racism. For different reasons. It's more about status, about money, the have and the have-nots. You know, it's more that than anything on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? If you look good and you in the place to be and you got money on the West Coast, I mean, people ain't gonna look. Some people be ignorant enough to be racist. You know, but on the East Coast, man, you get people racist on every level. You know what I'm saying? More on the West Coast. It's more about why aren't you off the streets? Why aren't you driving? Why don't you have a car? Why aren't you in school? Why don't you have a place to stay? What went wrong with you? That's how they're gonna look. That's how white people gonna look at you over there. Not because you're black. Because they ain't have no whole history of thick racism like we do over here. So they're going to look at you more like, oh, well, it's not because you're black. It's like, what happened? What did you do wrong? What went wrong? That's how the white folks look at you over there. That's the truth. That's the truth. You'll cut out a whole bunch of what you think is racism if you were just up on your feet. A lot of white people accept you in California. It's going to make sense to them. Your life going to make sense to them. They're going to be like, oh, okay, it's whatever. But if you out here struggling, you on the streets, they gonna say, what went wrong with you? And because they white, you gonna think that's racism. Nah, I didn't really like that. So once I went to the West Coast and I seen the gang stalking, and it dawned on me, this is everywhere. See, you gotta go through that. Where it dawned, it's okay, like I told you. I realized I was gang stalked in Florida and in North Carolina, right? But then when I went to the West Coast, can you imagine when it dawned on me this stuff is over here too? Can you imagine the feeling? So you ain't been through that. You think I'm gonna say I'm gonna pray about that? And I done seen these people from Florida to California. No. I'm not finna sit up and talk about some prayer. I'm gonna pray about this. Nah, I'm going on a national war. I start fasting against America. I start fasting against the whole country. That's right. Because it was no longer a East Coast effort. This was the West Coast too. And as much love as I had for the West Coast, I mean, I had to accept it. It's what it was. I had to go to war with them too. I had to, bruh. Because they was part of it. I mean, it's nothing personal. They were part of it. I had to admit it. Beyond my bias of the West Coast and how much I like LA and Los Angeles. I lived in Los Angeles, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, and see, for somebody from the East Coast that went to LA, it's a great feat because a lot of people scared of LA. You know what I'm saying? On the East Coast. They'll talk all that stuff over here. They'll talk all about the streets over here, you know, in these southern old country old neighborhoods. Well, Miss Cindy baking biscuits. You can smell the biscuits through the window. You call that the hood. Miss Cindy baking biscuits you can smell it through the window. You in the hood, you in the ghetto neighborhood with Miss Cindy biscuits smelling through the window, ain't it? We can smell Miss Cindy cooking biscuits. You in them type of neighborhoods. Go to California, go to Los Angeles. They scared to go to LA. You scared to go through LA. I lived on the streets of LA. That's why I don't take no junk. I slept on the streets where anything could have happened to me. I slept on the vulnerable street. I was vulnerable, sleeping on the streets of Los Angeles. Vulnerable, on the streets. You go to sleep, you go to sleep. Anybody can come from any part of the city and come kill you and do anything to you. They ain't got to be just a neighborhood. And then where I was at, they said it was a gang zone. That little area I was at. So, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I just lived in LA. You know what I'm saying? It's probably that too, man. I mean, I done seen I done been around energy a little more stronger than that East Coast stuff. You know what I'm saying? When you're around a lot of people, I mean, one of the first people I met in Los Angeles was a killer. This dude was a certified killer. He caught a body in Los Angeles. So I actually met a killer in LA. It's one thing to go to LA and you don't meet no gangbangers. You don't meet no killers. Then it's another thing to go to LA and you actually do meet a car. You know, you actually do meet a killer, a gangbanger. That's what I'm saying. So see, you know, and when it rings home like that, when it comes home like that to your mind, you got more of an understanding of a higher level of war in the real world, on another level of death and all that kind of stuff that you might not see on the East Coast. You know, because one thing about the West Coast, man, they kill for real, bruh. They kill for real. And they consistent. They gonna always be, LA is gonna always be more consistent in killing and murder than any other city in the country. Even Chicago. Chicago ain't gonna ever be more consistent than LA. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. LA is gonna be number one. Always. Always. For murder. For always. Just going hard and riding and sliding on people. Man, come on, we already know that, bro. We already know them codes over there. You ain't even gotta live in it. You already see it. You see it on the internet. You can tell them codes is strong, bro. Stronger than anywhere in the country. And so when I don't see East Coast people go over there, you know what I'm saying? I don't really take no disrespect. I don't take nothing, because I know you ain't gonna do what I done. You ain't gonna go to the West Coast. You ain't gonna go to LA and go and sleep on the streets of LA. And you'll say something ignorant like, well, we ain't got to. I ain't asking if you got to. You're not going to do it. Okay? And that's the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you listen to the white dudes, they'll tell you I was in a certain neighborhood, I could have been killed. That's what kind of neighborhood I was in. Because what they don't tell you about the streets of LA, you could die on the streets around a whole bunch of people in poverty. It ain't like New York being homeless on the streets in New York. It's LA, you got young dudes on the streets. Oh, the police tell you about the young dudes in the streets. In LA, you got a lot of young dudes on the streets where you got to hold your head. You got politics and everything on the streets. It ain't no bum it out. See, that's how they paint Skid Row, like it's just bummed out. They ain't gonna show you all them young, fresh dudes that clothes fresh and they street dudes. Ain't bumming it out. They street people. You got to hold your head. Which means you gotta be straight on your politics. You gotta be straight on your codes. You know, so you know, I was out there. I confronted somebody out there about my money. You know what I'm saying? Situation with my money. Now, I confronted this dude. I was walking up on him. He like, yeah, what's up, Marcello? What's up, man? This was LA. I confronted this dude. He was like, man, what's up, man? I was like, man, I gotta get my money, bruh. You know what I'm saying? I confronted people in LA, bruh. You know what I'm saying? I done confronted the dude in LA, so you know, it wound up being understanding. You know, he understood from New York, but I ain't go over there bound down to nobody. That's real. See, that's how you get your respect. You get in and you listen. You let people know what time it is, bro. Anywhere you go, you know what I'm saying. So I can actually say, yeah. I walked up on somebody about my money on principle. That's right. That's right, buddy. That's right. Anywhere I go, even LA, I ain't listening. It's another city. You know what I'm saying? That's real. You walk, anything can happen to you. I remember one dude was walking, it was this Mexican dude. He was like, "You stay in this neighborhood?" Because me and him was just talking. You know, I was that kind of dude. I used to be. I used to be that. I ain't really like that no more. But I was just talking to him, you know what I'm saying? I was like, he was just like, "You stay in this neighborhood right here?" I was like, yeah. He was like, "That's a bad neighborhood." That's a dude that lived in LA, man. He was like, "You stay in this neighborhood right here?" You know what I'm saying? So, because that neighborhood represent Compton, Long Beach, Watts, Inglewood, all that stuff you seen on TV. It's one neighborhood, all them people compressed in one neighborhood. That's why East Coast can't put no fear in my heart, bro. And NYPD can't put no fear in my heart either. Let's get that very understood. That's why they flag people like me, because I done been coast to coast. Once you done go and went to coast, they flag you, man, because you out the zone, the psychological zone of how they molded you. And you broke the mold because you went somewhere else. That's why they'll flag people like you. They'll flag people like me. If we go coast to coast, you nationwide, you get flagged automatically. They automatically watching you. Because your psychology, whether it was West Coast or East Coast, has been broken. You know what I'm saying? You see the whole story. You see the whole American, you realize America for fully who it is, what it is. You know what I'm saying? And it's no exception with the gang stalking. Once you go from the East Coast to the West Coast, you can see all the gang stalking for what it is. You're like, "Oh man, this is over here too? This is over here?" I threw my hands up after that, and see, that's how you know where my mind is at. I let them get away with a couple years of gang stalking. More than a couple years, more than a couple years, but. By the time I went from the East Coast to the West Coast, I was like, "Nah, bro, nah. You gonna throw your hands up, and I guarantee you're gonna be a whole different animal." So see, the truth is, man, some of us just not on the front lines. That's basically what it is. And you ain't been from coast to coast to see how bad this is, and you're not a person that's a leader on the front lines of this gang stalking. You kind of in the masses. And how we know, because you don't have no solutions. And you a Christian. How come you ain't got no solutions? You know, you ain't got no nationwide potent solutions to destroy all of this. You know what I mean? And the reason why is because you haven't been a lot of places. So I really can't even listen. The next step is I can't really listen to a local person, a local targeted individual that's been gang stalked. I can't listen to you because you don't see the whole picture. Now go coast to coast, go from the East Coast to the West Coast, all down south too. Let's add that to it, because I say East Coast is what, North Carolina, and New York. That's the East Coast. Let's say the East Coast, then West Coast and down south. Try all of that, and you see all the gang stalking, and tell me what you gonna do. But until you do it, you can't say what you gonna do. You ain't gonna be the same person you are now. No, you talking on a low level, like in the masses. I'm on the front lines. I guess that's a little more, I'm general in this situation. And everybody know it. They seen me take gang stalking on in the West Coast. They seen me take gang stalking on the West Coast, take it on the chin, come back on the East Coast, same way, harder than ever. I just left the West Coast last year. It ain't even been a full year since I left the West Coast. It's been less than a year since I left California. Okay, so see, that's why I'm different than the average person that's being gang stalked. They're going to talk that same language. I'm trying to show you what to do. I'm trying to show you, see, this is how God got me. You know what I'm saying? But you don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? You think, you don't know. That's what I'm saying. You don't know no better. You don't know how far the rabbit hole goes. This is everywhere. This is all over the country. So imagine you acting like, you know, just having this little talking, and I mean, just me as a man, that's just not gonna make the grade, bro. That's not gonna make the grade. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting it done. I know what to do. I'm gonna fast, and I'm gonna give these offerings, and I'm gonna take care of this nationwide, bro. We nationwide soldiers. A nationwide soldier ain't gonna sit up and talk about, we don't fight against no human beings, and all these people are out here against us. And we ain't gonna look at the Bible and see it from the Old Testament, from the times when God's people fought against human beings. You think we gonna ignore that? And this stuff is nationwide. We gonna look at it just like in the Bible times. We are at war with human beings. Now you see what I'm saying, and that's the punchline. You gonna think like that when you see it everywhere, but you ain't been far enough to see it. You go to California, you see all these women and girls against you, all these people doing the same stuff over there too. You gonna realize you are like the people of the Old Testament. You gotta go to war with human beings, and that's what it is. And God is gonna lead us. See, if you don't see the whole picture, you ain't gonna think about God leading us against these all this people, and you ain't gonna think you gonna think America's still good until you realize it's everywhere. That's the next level, man. And that person probably won't ever get it in her lifetime, because she ain't gonna go to the West Coast probably. She gonna go up and down. Most East Coast Southern people gonna go up and down the East Coast. They might come up here to New York or as far as DC, even that, or Baltimore or Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. But they ain't gonna go all the way to the West Coast like me. And then you see it over there. Now when you see it over there, way across over there in California, man, you ain't gonna tell me you just gonna have this idea that we don't do nothing, we don't fight against these people. It's a fight. You're acting like it's not. You're acting like you just gonna pray and God is gonna handle it like that. But they're against you from coast to coast. It's not gonna happen to me, man. Once I knew they was against me coast to coast, that was it. I went in. But see, that's the natural response. And she hasn't come into that natural response. This person that kicked me off the stream, she ain't came to that natural response. That's all it is. When you go coast to coast and you see all of this going on, you ain't finna say, well, we'll just pray about it. It's gonna be so big for you to go from coast to coast to see all of that. You ain't gonna be. That's gonna be huge to you. That's gonna be insane. You gonna say, man, yo, you gonna throw your hands up like I did. I did it naturally. See, that's what the Americans realize now. I went against them naturally, like I supposed to. Once I went from the South to the East West Coast, and I seen it over there, that's what triggered me right there. I said, nah. That's why I woke up. I was like, before that, I was just like them. The average person that's been gangsta, I know it's something going on because your street intuition gonna tell you. You know what I'm saying? Your intuition gonna tell you something going on. You know what I'm saying? If you got any street intuition, you gonna know it's not normal. You gonna know it's not normal because your intuition is telling you. And in the beginning, you just gonna be rubbed the wrong way. You ain't gonna catch on. But then your street intuition gonna catch on. You gonna say, nah, that's not normal. That keep happening. This same thing keep happening. Okay, boom, nah, that's not normal. I was on those levels, right? That's about where that person is at to kick me off the street. You know what I'm saying? This is not normal, going through this woo. All these people, certain people, and this and that certain thing, raging out to these people and stuff. You know what they doing, these little investigations and all of that stuff like that. See, I used to be like that. Then I went to the West Coast. No, hold up. I was on her level. Then I went to the West Coast and seen it over there. Once I seen that was it. That was it for me, bro. That was it. That's all I needed to see. Once I seen it on the West Coast, my mind had the ability as a prophet to go to the next level that they didn't think I could go to. See, some people really, because they have not really sought God on a higher level, they can't go to another level. That's why they stuck. And I'm trying to show them what to do. I'm trying to show them what to do. In order to go to the next level, you got to, especially if you're not a prophet, you have to have people, listen, you're blessed if you have somebody like me to show you the next level. Because you're going to be, listen, I guarantee you, the little stuff you're doing, it ain't working. That's why you're breaking down, crying on, this same person was crying on YouTube, shedding tears, crying in front of everybody. I'm just keeping it real. I felt sorry for the person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it was weakness and everything, but I just felt bad for the person, man. She breaking down, crying and everything in front of the whole YouTube. You ain't gonna never see me do that. And I'm not listen, it's nothing wrong with sharing your heart and being transparent and shedding tears. You know, that person has a decent heart, right? But the truth is, man, I gotta say this. The reason why you breaking down, because you're not doing enough of the right things. You're not fasting enough. I'm telling you, that's what it is. You in the war. You can't fast like every once in a while like you used to as a Christian. Now you in war. This person was breaking down and everything, crying on live and crying on the video. Why, you ain't gonna never see me break down like that. And why you think that how that person was strong and that's what happened? That's not what it was. I'm telling you what it was. You have been put under so much pressure because you're not doing enough of the right stuff. If you was fasting enough, you wouldn't be breaking down crying like that. No, you wouldn't. You'd be digging in. You'd be digging into this war. But the truth is, what it really boils down to, people don't want to do this. So I made it clear what I'm talking about, fasting. You can take that and glean that and say, okay, why can't you do it? Because you don't want to do it. That's the truth. See, the truth is, I done said something that you don't really want to do anyway. That's the truth. That's the truth, man. A lot of people don't want to fast. You ain't gonna want to go without eating all the time, and then it don't never stop. It don't stop. We don't stop. It ain't gonna never be no end to fasting. It's no end. See, you don't accept it, do you? It's no end. I'm fasting right now. See, she ain't know I was fasting because I don't talk about it like that. I don't do it like that. I do it to instruct people and educate, but I don't do it to like just, yeah, I'm fasting today, you know what I'm saying? Not like that. But she didn't know. See what I'm saying? You trample on the wrong people. You think they out of pocket. That person fasting, giving you revelation, giving you information. You know, it's too heavy for you though. It's too heavy for you. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth is, man, you don't want to do what it takes. You don't want to do what I said the fasting though. I put that in there. You know what I'm saying? Like if you like this person was like, well, fasting helps. This let me know you're a low level Christian. You are, because fasting helped to a veteran. A veteran ain't gonna articulate it like that. They gonna articulate it like it's their lifestyle. Like, yeah, I'm in there with you. I do the same thing. I'm all in. Something to that effect. You know what I'm saying? You gonna cheer it on like, yeah, that's what I'm about over here too. Not fasting helps. Yeah, I see that fasting helps. Nah, bruh. That let me know what level you on, man. I'm smart enough to read between the lines. That let me know you don't fast too much. You know what I'm saying? And see, with that being said, you know, that's why you breaking down. That's all I'm trying to show people. At the end of the day, she seen what I was talking about, which was fasting against these people. That's what's gonna move it. That's what they hate. She seen what I was talking about, but she's not about that life. Not every week. She probably fasts every other week. And she probably went on a 7-day fast in a very long time, if she ever even done it. She may have never fasted a 21-day fast. I fasted for 3 weeks. For 21 days. I'm not bragging, I'm just showing you my rank. I went 3 weeks without eating and successfully refed myself back to health. That's why I'm proud of myself for that. That was like, I actually medicated myself, got up and medicated myself back to health after fasting for 3 weeks. For 21 days, no food and no vitamins. I didn't take no vitamins, no food, no vitamin water, no snacks, no nothing. 21 days, no water fast, nothing but water. And I lived. I survived. See, that's what I'm saying. And this is what it takes. This is why they can't see me at all. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, yeah, you think I'm like, yeah, I do 3 weeks. I do 21 days, 2 weeks sometimes, a week all the time. I fast, I do a week fast like nothing. That's why I take no disrespect, bro. Like you just don't know. You don't know no better. A person that fasts for a whole week, from Tuesday to Tuesday, all the way through the weekend, all the way back to Tuesday. No food at all the whole time, since the other Tuesday. You can't play with people like that, bro. That's why it's death. It's gonna happen anyway. See, I couldn't even get to the level where I started talking about how many days to fast. You know what I'm saying? Like she don't even talk on levels like that. Which means to me, you probably fast a day here, a day there. At best, you might do 3 days. That's nothing. You need more time to fast. That's old school fasting. 3 days, that's old school. Half of these American Christians, you fasting for 3 days. That's it. That's all you're doing. That's why it's not moving. The devil the devil have put more warfare against us. You can't fast for no 3 days anymore. You gotta fast for like 7 days to get them devils off you. To let them know what time it is. If you I fasted for 3 weeks. That's what I'm talking about. But see, you can listen to the best of them, and they ain't talking about that, buddy. Oh yeah, look, I give you some homework. Go find Christians that's talking about fasting for over a week. They ain't talking about it, bro. They ain't talking about that. I can show you less than a month ago, I done went on a 7-day fast. I stay relevant. And I'm going to do it again and again and again and again. That's what I'm saying. It's no stopping. That's when you realize this dude right here, you might as well go ahead. Listen, you might as well go on about your business. It's not going to stop. Because I'm not going to stop. I don't care what I do, the mistakes I make, I'm getting back up and I'm fasting. I'm fasting right now. That's what I'm saying. They're not looking at it for what it is. You fasting right now while they talking about the mistakes you made before the fast. That part. But you on the fast right now. They can't even keep up with you. They still stuck on something you did in the past. They not focused on the fact that you're on the fast right now. You can't. That means you can't keep up. As far as I'm concerned, you can't keep up. I'm fasting today, buddy. Because my offering just went down to New Orleans. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm just on another level, man. I'm nationwide, international. I can't talk to people that's local, bruh. That they either prideful, they can't accept it. They can't accept somebody coming in teaching them something they never heard. It's that too, man. You don't really know. I don't really try to figure it out. But all I know is, man, when you don't accept what I tell you, you ain't got to worry about me again. You ain't going to see me again. You ain't going to see me no more. She ain't going to see me no more. You ain't got to worry about it. I don't force myself on nobody. That ain't my style. It ain't my style, buddy. Listen, you ain't got to worry about me no more. I ain't gonna troll you. I ain't gonna be on your live. I ain't gonna be on your threads, on your videos. I ain't gonna do no likes. I ain't gonna do no nothing. I don't wanna see you. You know what I'm saying? When your videos come through, I'm gonna hide them. When they probably try to put the videos in my feed, I'm gonna hide them. And that's that, bro. It's that simple. It's that simple, man, because I already know what it, I done seen. I guarantee you this person hasn't been through being gangstalked from California to Florida to North Carolina to New York. They ain't been through that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't been through. She ain't been through that, and that's facts, man. So all you talking about is probably some old country little dude. She sound like she's from the South, so it's just probably some little country little guys, some little redneck dudes. You know what I'm saying? Little thinking they hard or wherever they at in they little dumb little country town. Not her, but them. The little gangstalker she going through, and that ain't nothing. Go trying to go to the West Coast with these California people over there with money and all kind of stuff, gang stalking. All these gay and lesbians over there gang stalking. All these white people gang stalking one person, gang stalking you. You know what I'm saying? White people doing it. You know what I'm saying? You want God's wrath. I'm telling you, in a major. I listen. The more this is how I see it. The more you go, the more people that gang stalk you. You gonna want more people to get God's judgment. So if you just going through 3 or 4 people, it's gonna be easy for you to say. And you might have been through it here and there, some other people. Let's just say it don't add up to no more than about 100 people, realistically, that you've seen and everything physically. And let's just add another maybe couple thousand people from all the public gang stalking too. Let's just add that to it, that you might not even know about, right? But let's just add that to it. Maybe 3,000 or 4,000 other people on the outside through all the time you've been gang stalked. Now magnify that from state to state, from gang stalking with new people, not the same people, whole new cities of gang stalking. And you tell me what you gonna do about it. What you gonna do? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like the people in the Bible that went to war with human beings. Okay? But I'm going in this season right now, which I clarified to this person. I'm going about it by spiritual means. I'm not physically going out here. That's what I told her. I was like, no, I'm not physically saying I'll go out here. I'm saying I will, these people are doing physical operations against us. That's physical. How's that not physical when they gang stalking you from coast to coast? That's not physical. It still falls in the category of physical because it can affect you. And this is the key to this. If it can affect you, it's physical. Ooh. If it can affect you and they walking around and they gang stalking you all around, sound campaigns, you sounding sirens and car alarms and closing doors and doing psychological stuff, that can affect you even physically where you lose your mind. How it's not physical then? Because they not using weapons? That's simple-minded. They still physical. So my answer, why I answered that is yes, is because what they're doing is physical. But we want to fight, we want to beat them physically, but by spiritual means. And I made that very clear, bro. Oh yeah, we want them to be attacked physically, yeah. But I'm going about it a different way. So that's why I answered that question like that. I don't use no trickery. I already know what my heart is. Do I want something to happen to them physically? Yes. Do you? You don't want nothing to happen to them physically. So what you want to happen? That they might be saved. But what if they don't get saved? You ever thought about that? What if they don't get saved? Then what? What you want to happen next? What you want to happen? What's the next option? If they don't get saved. See, you as a Christian, you don't got another option, do you? You want them to get saved. What if they don't get saved? What then? And they using all these people against you. See, some of them people, the insinuation is they'll go ahead and die. Not me, buddy. Not me. You tripping. You tripping. I guess I see it differently, man, because like some people might see it as it's almost over and they gonna just go ahead and die. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they can't front on me because I know what level of Christianity you on. Because you don't really, when I say fasting, bro, you a veteran. You don't even know how many times you done fasted. You are a veteran. You don't even know how many times you done fasted. You know, I can't tell you that. I don't know. I know it's over years, literally, over 365 days of different types of fastings. I counted up over 365 days of fasting in my last apartment that I was in. A whole year when I added up all the fastings. Literally, of some type of fast I was on. Over 365 days of it, man. I get respect from real Christian missionaries for fasting. You know what I'm saying? I talk to real Christians, man. You know what I'm saying? So some people might think how you talking is you kind of rogue from, I'm me who I am from North Carolina. This is how I talk. And, you know, and maybe you didn't really pay attention to the accent. You didn't really pay attention to where I'm from. I'm from North Carolina. This is how I talk. You know, I lived on the West Coast and everything like that. So, you know, maybe because I sound Southern, you might take that for more carnality. I mean, some people like that. I mean, really. But this is how I talk. This is my accent. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I'm just telling you. Like, you know, I'm from North Carolina. This is how I talk. You know, if that sound like thuggish or a street person or a novice, you know, so some people, it might sound like I'm a novice. You know, because it sounds like, you know, I got a Southern accent. I'm kind of like, you know, they might think that I'm on a low level of Christianity. You know, I just came in or something like that, right? You know, but it's all good, man. You know what I'm saying? When it's Christians like that, I don't mean I go on about my business. You know what I'm saying? As long as they don't put their mouth on me and start talking about the devil, because she said something like that, like I don't know if she was referring to me or confusion or the devil to come in and bring. I don't got nothing to do with the devil. I do stuff that you couldn't even imagine to the devil. I fast against Satan himself. Something you wouldn't even think it was possible to even do. That's why I'm on these levels. I fast against Satan, man. How dare somebody mention me with Satan? I fast against Satan. I fast against the Antichrist. I fast against the mark of the beast in the New World Order. Watch people sit back and I'm telling you, man, you're doing the equivalent of chants. We gonna do this and right. You're doing chants, man. I'm doing real spiritual warfare. You're doing chants. You're chanting, bruh. Some people are chanting on their pages. That's all they're doing. I fast against Satan as an entity. That's why he can't stand me. I take what come with it. That's why he gangstar me from coast to coast. Because I fast against Satan himself. How dare you even connect my spirituality with his? When I fast against Satan himself, I fast against the Antichrist. But I don't need your approval. I'm not trying to get your approval by telling you that. But see how dangerous it is? If I'm fighting against Satan, don't you realize God's going to send me angels on that level of fighting, right? Which means they're going to defend me against everything and anything based on the level I chose to be on by faith. I chose to be on that level. I made a decision, right? God sends angels on that level to fight against Satan. As a result, any enemies that tread against me, now you have to deal with angels that actually fight Satan. That's why it's hell. That's why it's hell. Because when I decided to go to that next level, God sent the help. He sent the help. Now, I mean, that's just why I'm just on another level, man. That's just, and I'm not saying it in an arrogant way. It's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just let it be what it is. I just let it be what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just let it be what it is. Because, see, a lot of people will sit back and think, you know, oh, well, you know, this person doesn't really know. If you nitpick and play with me, bro, and I'm fasting against Satan, and God is well pleased with that, and you can't find a servant that did that but me, while I fast against Satan, you think that's play Christianity. You think I'm making up stuff, like I'm some comic book, like that's some comic book fighting kind of stuff. Like I'm just playing games. No, I'm fasting against Satan. And in the beginning, I almost died for it. He punched me right in the gut. Boom. I was up in the ICU. Almost dead. I almost died for it. I almost died for it. After that, God sent angels, everything. Now you see where I'm at. Oh, listen, it's not easy. If you decide to fast against Satan, this is what I recommend, is that you stay away from the public for 7 days. This is my strategy, because I got a lot of fast against Satan now. I got more than one. I got a good handful of fastings against Satan. Every time I do it, and I think to do it, I stay away from the public for 7 days. I stay out the streets for 7 days. That's my rule. You know, and God may have prompted me to do that. But that's my rule. I don't go fast against Satan and then go outside and chill outside. he go send all kind of stuff against you. Crazy police. Might be a bugged out police. He just drives crazy. Person thinking you're doing stuff you ain't doing, and police said you had something in your hand, you ain't had nothing in your hand. That's why if you do fast against Satan and you decide to get on this level, don't go outside for like 7 days. The longer you can, if it take even, you know, if a whole month would be great. But let's just say you can't do a month, you know, for whatever reason. Maybe you gotta, even with, at best, you gotta, at minimum, you gotta go get your food stamps and get your cash. You know, you gotta do that. You gotta run errands every month, right? So, but if you could do like a week of staying away from the streets for 7 days when you fast against Satan, then you're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. By that time, God will send reinforcements. High-ranking angels to fight against Satan. See, that's the level I'm on, bro. So then the devil gonna come and lie. He gonna make me out to be a devil. That's what he gonna do. He's called the father of lies. And the one that you playing with, just like how they did Jesus, that's the one that's fighting the devil. You just decided to use your children, you decided to use yourselves, and God ain't playing no games. That's all it is. It's a goofy community. You know what I'm saying? You did all this goofy stuff and then you thought nothing wasn't gonna happen. You did a whole bunch of goofy stuff and you thought nothing was gonna happen to you. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? I fast against Satan. I fast against the Antichrist. I became the real life Neo. Because Neo believed you had Zion, but Neo was the one that had enough faith to destroy the Matrix. See, you in the Matrix, but you don't got enough faith to destroy it. That's 7 hour. You succumb to it. You succumb to all it brings to your life and all. That's all they doing, sitting around talking. That person kicked me off live. All they doing, sitting around talking about gang stalkers. That's all they doing, sitting around talking about gang stalkers. That's all they doing. You know what I'm saying? That's all they doing. I'm over here talking about solutions. I'm telling you what I'm doing. I done sent money to Vietnam. I'm showing you what to do. I'm showing you how to fight back. You know what I'm saying? That's what Neo gonna show you. I ain't gonna be consumed with the Matrix like Zion. I ain't gonna be sitting up here talking about what the Matrix is doing. You know what I'm saying? What the agents are doing. I ain't gonna be talking about that. I'm gonna be showing you the solutions. See, the real Neo is gonna show you what to do. They gonna show you what to do. That's what they gonna show you. But see, I try to reach out to people. That's how you know I ain't fraudulent. I try to reach out. You know what I'm saying? But I already know, man. I already know what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? I already know. But I have the courage to reach out to people from time to time, especially if I see that they getting gang stalked and all of that. I see they going through that. She breaking down and crying. You know what I'm saying? I tried to reach out to her. You know what I'm saying? But once you say something out of pocket, once you push me out the way, that's it. That's all, bro. That's all I'm do. Don't say no more. I'm just washing my hands. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna hate you. You know what I'm saying? But I promise you, this time next year you're gonna have a change of heart. I'm telling you. It's just, and then you're gonna say, man, he was right. In so many ways, you're gonna find yourself saying the same thing that I'm talking about. There was wars in the Bible, and how couldn't God bring you into a war with these gang stalkers? It's common sense. That's the war that you're facing. Okay, so then why wouldn't God make you face it? Why wouldn't you use your weapons, your fasting weapons, to face that? So you're supposed to just chill and fast and then you're not supposed to go to war with this. But then God let his people go to war. He didn't just zap the people that was against them. That's what you got this mentality. God gonna zap people. Z-A-P, zap. God doesn't zap. This is the superstitious mentality that people have before they become Christian. God zaps people. God don't zap people like lightning bolts. He has certain methods of how he goes about it, and you got to get down with the methods. You know what I'm saying, that God does. You know what I'm saying? Because if God zapped people, then why would he send his people to war? God could have just zapped the people. That's the question to you. If we do a little prayer and then God can zap them to death, why didn't it happen like that? Why did God send his people to go to war and he didn't zap the people and just zap them out the way? You can't answer the question. That's what I'm saying. They can't answer that. All I know is God got a way of handling it, and I'm just going to go with the way that God handled it. See, that's what make you humble. You don't say, well, why God couldn't just zap them and get rid of them? And that's what you're going to see. When you don't use no method, you're going to find yourself asking that. You're going to fall. Some people going to fall off. I don't wish it, but they're going to, because you expect God to zap people, and it don't work like that. I'm not saying he can't do it, but that's not how he usually does it. So then I'm going to go by what he usually do. He sends his people to war like soldiers. That's what it is. I'm not saying, I'm not criticizing it or nothing. This is what it is, and I'm with it. So if God sent his people to go to war in the Bible, then what I'm going to do? Expect God to zap people? And that's low-key how people thinking. Like God's just going to zap these people around you. It's not going to happen like that, bro. I'm telling you. It's not going to happen like that. It's not going to happen like that. I'm not saying it can't. But the odds are, God's not going to zap lightning bolts, zap people like lightning bolts. He's not going to do it that way, bro. He's not going to do it that way. The way he's going to do it is put you in a position of spiritual warfare against these people directly. And that really is the hang up, is that you don't think you're supposed to face them directly. And you do. Jeremiah, I can go with Jeremiah, the prophets of Baal. He faced them directly and killed them. It's what it is. The prophet Elijah. He faced them and they died, bro. You gotta come to terms with it, man. That's all I'm saying, man. See, now you see what I'm saying. It's the real Bible. It's the real way. God makes his people face people, bro. One-on-one, they get it in, you know what I'm saying, and it's over with. I can show you all through the Bible where God killed people. You know what I'm saying? Pharaoh's son got killed. If you one of them people who think God won't kill children, then I can show you God killing children through the Bible. I can show you over and over again. The prophet Elijah killed the cursed children, they died. You know what I'm saying? See, that's a level of Christianity some people ain't on. You're not going to ever agree with that. But see, you don't go to the highest level of Christianity. No, you don't. No, you don't, because you're limited to, oh, well, I just love everybody and children. I just love all children. Well, the prophet Elijah cursed children. Now, you either accept that or you form another Christianity where you don't acknowledge that really. You don't really acknowledge it, do you? Just keep it 100. You don't really acknowledge it. You don't acknowledge it, bro. So it was the prophet Elijah in 1 Kings. Excuse me, it wasn't Jeremiah. It was the prophet Elijah. This is why I'm all about the word. I'm all about getting in here in the word to make sure I say it right. The prophet Elijah killed the prophets of Baal. The 40th verse, 1 Kings, the 18th chapter, the 40th verse. Because it's easy to get the prophet Jeremiah and Elijah caught up with each other. I mean, as far as their stature and how powerful they were, you can easily get them caught up with each other. So, but that's why I already knew in my mind who it was. I just had to figure out which one it was between those two. So I went to the scriptures, as you can see, and it's 1 Kings, the 18th chapter, the 40th verse. Okay, so it reads, Elijah told them, seize the prophets of Baal. Don't let any of them escape. The people seized them, and Elijah took them to Kishon River and slaughtered them there. The prophet Elijah slaughtered the prophets of Baal. Okay, see, that's the sounding sirens, like, except to say I'm something incorrect or something. We don't listen, buddy. I'm human. I don't have any problem with being wrong. See, that's the difference between me and other people. And I wasn't necessarily wrong because I thought about the prophet Elijah. I just had to pick between the two. So that was just me really sorting through it. You know what I'm saying? See, but that's the clown that we deal with. You know what I'm saying? That's a clown that has to be destroyed. Has to be destroyed because it serves no purpose. Anything that does not serve a purpose gets cursed. That's just how it is. That's why even when it comes to sexuality, if it doesn't serve a purpose of being fruitful and multiply, it get cursed. It has to serve. Purpose is so important. And if you don't serve a purpose, I guarantee you can find a curse in there. Well, whoever it is, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's food for thought. When you don't serve purpose, you start to get cursed. I serve purpose. I'm in a spiritual war. I'm on the front lines of God's battle. That's my main purpose. Okay, so I can show you right here in 1 Kings, the 18th chapter, the 40th verse, where the prophet killed people. He slaughtered them. It was one-on-one. He went against them spiritually and then killed them physically. The prophet Elijah versus the prophets of Baal. They went to war to see who the god of fire, who would respond with fire. The prophet, the god of Baal, which is a false god, or the God of Elijah. And God responded with fire. And then he still killed him. The prophet Elijah killed him after that. Now you would have just said, okay, I won right there. The prophet Elijah killed him after that. After spiritual manifestations, he still slaughtered them physically. It's over. It's all in the Bible. That's 1 Kings, the 18th chapter, the 40th verse. You can see it, and it says, Elijah told them, seize the prophets of Baal. Don't let any of them escape. The people seized them, and Elijah took them to the Kishon River and slaughtered them there. He slaughtered them. The prophet. And the prophet Elisha, his protege, cursed children, and they died. The student of the prophet Elijah was Elisha. Elijah and Elisha, right? Both of them prophets play no games with human beings, bro. They play no games with no human beings. The prophet Elijah cursed the children. See, this is the level of Christianity that people are not ready for, bro. That's what I'm saying. And then when you go to Jeremiah, we can go to Jeremiah. Jeremiah was taught not to pray for people. He was taught to not pray for people. Don't pray for them. Don't cry for them. Don't do none of that. This is Jeremiah, the 13th chapter. Excuse me, the 11th chapter. The 14th verse. And God says this, Jeremiah, don't pray for these people. Don't cry or pray for them. I won't listen when they call to me for help in times of trouble. That's what God said. This is over and over again. And see, I got this stuff highlighted, man. I got this stuff like I get in my word, bruh. And when I see all these times where in the Bible, over and over again, that God is telling it does not have this nice demeanor that the Americans made him to have, but that he's a balanced, full God that will destroy people. This is why they think they can play with you. That's why they think they can do it. Because they think your God would just sit back like Santa Claus and let people kill you. That's what they take from the Bible. Like we can just kill you like we killed Jesus. Listen, buddy. Jesus said, don't you know I can call 12 legion of angels? That's the part that preachers don't preach on Resurrection Sunday. My main message is, don't you know he can call 12 legion of angels? Because this is going to make you praise Jesus when you realize he could have killed them people. He could have killed them people. So how was Jesus weak? Jesus was strong because he was sitting there taking all of it, and he could have killed them. He said it. It'll be one thing, I assume it. No, Jesus out his mouth said, don't you know I can call 12 legion of angels? That's what I get from the story of Jesus. That he was not weak like people make him to be. And then you got these pagans out here who think we'll kill you like we killed Jesus. Oh, you couldn't even kill Jesus. What you talking about? Which means you can't kill no part of the kingdom of God if God don't let you do it. If God don't let you do it, you can't do nothing. But you will look at the story of Jesus and how the Americans project Jesus like he was weak and he couldn't do nothing about it. That's not the scriptures. The scripture says, don't you know I can call 12 legion of angels? Jesus could have killed all of those people. And that's why you praise him. Because he really didn't have to go through it. That's how you preach the story of Jesus, buddy. He could have killed them people. That's how you preach it. He could have killed them. He could have killed the whole government. He could have killed Pontius Pilate, all them people. He could have killed all of them. Now that's how you preach Jesus, buddy. He could have killed them all. He said it. He said it out his mouth. Jeremiah, don't pray for these people. Don't cry or pray for them. I won't listen when they call to me for help in times of trouble. God said he ain't gonna listen. You can't play with God's kingdom, buddy. I don't know what kind of Christianity you think you serve or what you thinking about, but the God of the Bible don't play no games, bro. None, little buddy. That's why it's wartime. It ain't no way around it. Ain't no way around that, bro. You can sit up and act like it's a game. It's no way around it. Okay? You have to respect this kingdom. And that's that. If you think it's a game, you're going to be subject to spiritual warfare where people die physically. That's right. That's the physical part on our behalf. In that's the understanding of how we respond, and it becomes physical. It becomes physical because when we use spiritual weapons, they gonna die. They gonna suffer physical defeat. They gonna lose people in their country like Nancy, and ain't nothing gonna be done about it. Because you don't value God's people. Why should God help you? She was a Christian, how you know? Or she was a religious person. You don't know if she was religious or Christian, do you? You don't, especially when they get old in age, or you're gonna just say she's a Christian. How you know? You don't know what she was doing secretly. You don't know what she did in her life. You don't know her. Why? She was old and she was supposed to be going to church. She a Christian, how you know? Yeah, that's real. That's real. You don't know if she was a Christian. You don't know. Okay? So then don't assume that God let her down and that might not even be a Christian. Man, her daughter was secular. Look how secular her daughter is. So don't you realize that she probably do a lot of secular stuff? Right or wrong. Nancy's daughter Savannah is on the news every day. That woman believes in homosexuality and lesbianism. You know she do. She's on the news. She's an anchor woman. You know she agrees with all that stuff. So you don't think she influencing her daughter or her mother used to watch all her shows? Of course she did. And so she was getting all type of doctrine, even from the show of homosexuality and lesbianism, all kind of worldly things, just from watching her daughter. Which means we can assume from all the little show that her daughter was on, she was doctrinized with worldly carnal things as a so-called Christian. Oh, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. See, the reason why I'm bringing this up is don't say she was protected. Don't say she was a Christian. That's real. That's real. Nobody has a problem when it applies in the streets. We say who's real and fake in the streets. But then we ain't got no tough skin when it comes to who's a real Christian and who's fake. But we can talk about who's real and fake in the streets though. But then when it comes to being a Christian, no, you sensitive. Nah, bro. If your daughter was secular, I'm pretty sure you were secular. Because you're going to support her. She was the light of her world. She gonna watch all the little shows and everything with all kind of carnality in the videos and the commercials. Think about what I'm saying. She was right there in carnality because of her daughter. She wasn't protected. She probably wasn't. That's why she wasn't protected. This is how we have to show people who is of God and not. These people going up in these churches and killing people. I don't know if those was real Christians. Sometimes they might be, sometimes they won't be. Don't just assume because they say, oh, they was going to church, that was a real Christian. How we know? That could have been a religious church. That's why they had no protection. We're talking about real spirituality. And you give it too easy to everybody. It's easy to be a Christian if you do the right thing. But it's easy also to get caught up in religion and you got no protection from God. And that comes right back to the gang stalkers. religion, while you would not think you're religious, anytime you decided to do things your way, you become religious. Religion is a man-made system attempting to get to God. Religion is a man-made system attempting to have a connection with God. Anytime you decide to do things your way, you created a new religion. That's why you got to have this word. That's why, like, see me, listen, if you got a brain, you know the difference between me and the word, right? So if you see me being human and you know, and that's carnal to you, you know I'm not teaching someone else. And you could say, you could be so smart you're stupid saying I'm teaching someone else to be carnal, right? But you know the difference. You know the difference even there, right? I don't teach nothing but this word, right? You can split hairs and say we teach with our lives. You can't be talking to me if you're American. Well, you teach homosexuality. You teach lesbianism. Okay, so you can't be trying to split hairs on me. See, what you thought was I was a prophet that you could split hairs on, but by the time you met me, you was already the enemy. I'm not here for your approval. You marry children in America. Oh yeah, that part. So why would you be over me? You ain't my master. Bro, how you my master? Glory to Yahweh. Hallelujah. How you my master and you marry children? No, I'm talking about from a real prophet, a real prophetic position. How are you a leader over a prophet and you marry children? Man, get yourself together, man. You know what I'm saying? Get yourself together. Stop playing with me, man. Get yourself together, bruh. You marry children. Talking about pedophiles. You marry children, bruh. You have sex with animals in West Virginia. West Virginia allows sex with animal. West Virginia. Oh, go check it. They have no laws against bestiality. So then you can't even talk about animals. What else you want to talk about with the prophet? That's 7 out. You have sex with animals in West Virginia. That's one state. One state to one person is no comparison. You got a whole state that has sex with animals. You got a whole state that has sex with animals. You can't even talk about bestiality. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to get off your chest? Anything else you want to get off your chest? Can't be serious. That's what I told you. Get yourself together, bro. Don't try to get me together. All you doing is ending the community. That's all you're doing, buddy. Yeah, you ain't correcting me on nothing. You sit up here marrying children and having sex with animals in West Virginia. In West Virginia, you in West Virginia, ain't you? You in West Virginia, You in West Virginia having sex with animals. Come on, stop playing, bro. You can't even talk about that. What else you want to talk about? What else you want to talk about? What else you want to talk about? You done everything, man. Don't you see that? Having sex with old people. Oh, you remember the dude that raped the two sisters about a year ago? He raped two older sisters, both of them. And with all these white girls dating dudes in their 80s. Oh, don't forget the white girls that date these older dudes for their money. Oh, I'm pretty sure they're senior citizens. You can't insinuate nothing about no old people when all them white girls, all these little doll-looking white girls look like dolls. You know, they look like little dolls. Hey, dating these old white dudes with money, you can't even say nothing about that. What else you want to talk about, buddy? What else you want to talk about? What else you want to get off your chest? I'm pretty sure whatever it is, you're doing it. You can't talk about racism. Oh man, this is the country of racism. So how can you stand up on somebody racist as America has been against black people? Well, if I was racist, you can't say nothing about it. America's racist towards black people too. They are. You're always recovering for something racist. The last thing was Barack Obama and Michelle Obama projected as monkeys. Which I don't see it that way, but other people do. I see it like it was a whole animal kingdom, and they had all the people there, and they probably thought they had features that looked kind of like a monkey, like their ears and things like that. Come on, man. Come on. And if you making a whole bunch of animals, but you got features that look kind of like some animal, is that being racist, or is just looking at it for what it is, or what it looks like? But see, the wisdom is to be smart, wise enough to know that monkey has been used against black people for a long time. Now, see, that's the wisdom you would use to not project black people like that, because you understand, you're cultured with understanding your community. When you could have made them some other kind of animal in the animal Lion King little theme, but so you wasn't cultured enough to understand what that meant to a lot of people. But I can't define that for the person that made it. I can't say that's what they meant. They could look at the features and really feel that way. Is that racism? People do it to white people. They say they look like elves and birds. They low key, black people do it too. You say they look like animals. You say white people don't look like animals. You say they look like animals too. It is some black people that do that. They say white people look like animals too. I done had a black person tell me I look like some type of other thing. You know what I'm saying? And if I would have struck back at them and said you look like a monkey, then what would have been said? You know what I'm saying? So see, you can take stuff. You can't really define every person and what they trying to project in those situations. You can't really say. Sometimes people say you're a monkey because you act stupid and you do goofy stuff. And what other word you gonna use? Monkey, because people bouncing around acting like clowns. Monkey business. Running around acting like monkeys. Now you can take it one way or you can take it the other. The truth is, man, everybody ain't gonna love you, and some of these black people need to come to terms with it. Everybody ain't gonna, your mama shouldn't have raised you weak like that. Everybody ain't gonna love you. Not in no America. And your mama should have told you that. Everybody ain't gonna love you. And sometimes you bring hate on yourself. You done brought hate on yourself. And you could be black and bring hate on yourself. What about that? Oh, everybody's supposed to just love you because you black? Imagine that. Imagine what kind of world we would have if that was the case. You can bring hate on yourself. If you're weak and taught and you was raised by weak people, you wasn't even taught these things. You can't walk around acting like somebody owe you something because you black. You can bring hate on yourself. And you should hold yourself to the same standard you hold others to. If you don't want nobody to kill black people, don't you do it yourself. Like I've explained before, you don't see the Jamaicans on TV. You don't see them on the news for killing each other. You don't never see no Jamaicans on the news. They more cutthroat and everything. Jamaicans are more thoroughbred, cutthroat. You can't play with them. But how come you don't see them on the news? Why you don't see them on the news? Because they fight it out. They work it out with their own. They treat their brother. They have brotherhood among Jamaicans. They got brotherhood. We don't have brotherhood among black people. We don't got no brotherhood. The Haitians, why they don't kill each other? They more cutthroat than the black or African Americans. Why they don't kill each other? Because they got brotherhood. Why the Ethiopians don't kill each other? They're here in America. Why they don't kill each other? Because they got brotherhood. You see? That's the only reason we on the news. It ain't because we harder than other people. Jamaicans are harder than African Americans. They more thoroughbred on an individual basis. On an individual basis, you are more likely to find Jamaicans to be more thoroughbred than black people, and we know that. We all know that. New Yorkers know that right now. New Yorkers know that right now. Jamaicans on the individual basis are more thorough than we are as African Americans. And you ain't gonna see them on the news for killing each other. Why? Why? Because they fight it out. They go somewhere and fight it out. Secretly, privately, when the police is called. They fight it out privately. Literally. They fight it out. They got real brotherhood. They don't want to kill each other. They fight it out. They get it out. They get it off. They get it in. And they done with it. That's brotherhood. You fight your brother. You don't kill him. So don't talk to me about brothers when you're killing each other. Because brothers don't kill each other. Brothers fight each other and it's over with. They argue and fight. That's all. That's why they ain't got no problems in their community. It ain't because they ain't killers. They are killers. They got killers. One of the closest friends I had that was a killer was a Jamaican. 100% he was Jamaican. He already caught a body. Right? Yeah, he already caught a body and everything. So I done been around Jamaicans. I know. We don't have brotherhood. That's all it is. That's all it is. Everybody else, and you see, some people are so caught up in their own web. Man, they don't even pay attention and look around. That you're the only ones killing each other. All these Africans, other Africans, they ain't even killing each other. It's the truth. It's the truth. So then when you talk about racism, man, I mean, it's a tricky situation because, see, you go talk to those white folks and I'm talking like this, you talk to the media and all of them in the internet, they're going to look at that as something, that's a clown world. So they're going to look at that as something wrong in their clown world. Now go talk to the Africans, go talk to the Jamaicans, go talk to the Ethiopians and Haitians. They're going to agree with me wholeheartedly. They don't have brotherhood. That's what it is. They don't try to have brotherhood. The last time black people had brotherhood was probably the 70s. They had it before. They had a decent amount of brotherhood back in the 70s and the 60s and back. But after the 80s, no more brotherhood, buddy. Once crack came on the scene, that was it. That ended any little brotherhood left. 90s, there was no brotherhood. Outside of gangs and thug life, it was no brotherhood. Just natural brotherhood between black people, nope, that's gone. Robbing each other, everything. Stealing from each other, killing each other, everything, bro. So, if you want to talk that pro-black stuff to me, listen, it ain't going to work. Because, listen, I'm going to come back into the real world. I'm going to show you the real world. Where we don't have no brotherhood. The first thing you got to fix among black people is brotherhood. Where you won't feel, where you value your brother, you value a black man as you value your brother. No other race has no problem with it. Chinese people don't have no problem. They see that as their brother. Each other. Chinese people see each other as brothers. That's why every race do it, except for us. We the only ones that don't do it. So the first thing you teach is brotherhood. You don't teach what the white man doing and all of this stuff, man. First of all, you need to teach brotherhood. So that takes a lot of studying. It takes a lot of information. Where you begin to teach brotherhood among black men. Okay? Until then, because I can tell you a lot of hang-ups. Like black men trying to have sex with each other's wives. You can't even have brotherhood. You try to get a black dude around, you got a black dude around your woman, he wind up having sex with your woman. Oh, it's the truth. It's the truth. Homies too. Homies is worse. All of a sudden she kicking it with the homie and all of that. You read between the lines. Oh, really? You wind up catching a charge, bruh. Black people having sex with each other's women and men. They can't have no sisterhood and brotherhood having sex with each other, man and women. Having sex with people, breaking up relationships, having sex with people's men or they women. That's a big problem. Outside of drug dealers and thugs and killers, then you got these pretty boys out here having sex with these dudes' women. You can't even, and the dude that you thought was your homie, all around your woman, scoping your woman, grandstanding on your woman in front of you. Y'all sitting there smoking weed, turning up together. That's how it starts. You think you being 100 and real, letting your homie come around your female. Next thing you know, when y'all fall off, who you think she gonna have sex with? When y'all go through hard times, who you think she gonna confide in? Low key, she gonna confide in your homie at some point. And if he a weak dude, he gonna have sex with your girl. See, I'm one of them dudes. I done been around the homie. I done been around the homie's girl when they situation was vulnerable, and I still held my head. I got reputation for that. And she was a beautiful woman. She was Dominican and Puerto Rican. You know she was beautiful. Dominican and Puerto Rican. And I held my head. She was smoking with me, me and her smoking together. I come over her house and me and her smoking together. This is when I was smoking weed. Me and her smoking a blunt together, back and forth. And the homie's right there, and I'm like, see, I'm pulled into the situation. I'm one of them friends that's like an angel to the couple. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all to work it out. Nah, y'all need to get together, stop all the foolishness. Nah. I'm that type of person. I don't care what it's talk. I don't care what they saying. I don't care what they talking about. If it's reasonable, if it's within reason. Now, if it's within if it ain't, I'm gonna stop talking. Like, if it's messed up, y'all done both did stuff messed up. Ain't nothing I can say, man. Just y'all should try to work it out. That's all I can say. But I'm that type of person. I don't come in and try to have sex with no dudes, woman, and everything like that, man. Some people so used to it, they let people do it and still be homies with their friends or whatever, man. I'm no. They don't. Nah. I don't cross them lines. So even though me and her were smoking together, I'm wondering what's going on. I'm already seeing. I've been a married man before. I already see what's going on. And I'm dragged into it. You know what I'm saying? I'm being transparent and talking about my life. And if I can use it to help people, that's what I'm going to talk about. Now, if you a lame and you're a religious church girl or a church boy and you a lame, you're religious. You're not spiritual because you don't hear the context of where it's coming from. Don't try to put your mouth on me, bro. On everything I love. On everything I love, you a lame. Okay? On everything I love, bruh. That's what I'm saying. You ain't no authority over me, bro. I'm talking about real life, and because you don't got them real stories, you a hater. You got them church people like that. You grew up in the church, and you think because you grew up in the church, you number one Christian out here. You not. You not. You ain't the hottest thing out here because you grew up in the church. You grew up in the church. That's it. You didn't seek the Lord. You didn't really fast and consistently. You didn't give offerings consistently. You didn't seek the Lord. You got caught up in church theatrics. You got caught up in the church activities. And you think that's rank with God, and it's not. I don't even get caught up with church people. I don't know. No, because I already got rank with God. Right? And so it ain't no need for you to come over here and act like you got some authority over me. I know more about the streets because you ain't been out here in the streets. And that's good you ain't been out here in the street. But I'm going to be more effective than you in some ways. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it is. You don't got to believe in me. Listen, you believe in God, buddy. You ain't got to believe in me. As long as you don't play with me, that's all. Because I don't care if you're a Christian. You think you got room to play with me, you don't. That's why you're in trouble. Because all the things, you have not considered all the things that has happened. These people in America play with me. You think he gonna let you come in and be trying to see who I am while they playing with me? That don't sound right. It don't sound right. That don't sound right. He already been played with by these other people. You think he gonna come in and let you play in? You being ghetto. You being ghetto, talking about you a Christian, you being ghetto. You know what the Bible calls you? A busybody in other men's matters. Oh, that's in the Bible. You a busybody in other men's matters. Hold up. Does it, there's a difference between discernment and being a busybody in other men's matters. No. You said discernment. You said try the spirit by the spirit. That ain't the same thing. Try the spirit by the spirit. A busybody in other men's matters is two different things. So if you're not careful, guess what you become? Ghetto in another man's, a ghetto busybody in other men's matters. Yeah, go read that. Why you talking about discernment and all of that? Because God, listen, God didn't tell you to be a busybody in other men's matters. So there's a thin line between discernment and testing the spirit by the spirit and being a busybody in other men's matters. That's why I love the Bible. It covers all these people. Yeah, he covers all these people. These people talking about they discerning. No, you a ghetto bastard sipping tea and you a busybody in other men's matters. That's what you are. I'm gonna tell you how you need to hear it. You a busybody in other men's matters. That's what you are, buddy. I don't care about other men's matters. I don't care like things when you being in my situation, you a busybody in other men's matters. You ain't helping no situation. You coming in and you beneath me. You ain't even higher ranking than me. How I know? Cause you listen, you have not been through this. Okay? No. You have not, you don't talk on levels that a person would talk on that's going through this. That's how we know you're not as high ranking as me. No, that's how I figured it out. I'll let you talk. I'll let you do what you do. And that's how I figure it out, buddy. Because me, listen, I'm going to tell you something about me. I am not a busybody in other men's matters, buddy. I don't care, but that's why I say I don't care about what the next man is doing. It's even in the Bible. I don't care what the next man is doing. That's why I don't waste that much time talking about no gay people. I just get God's people out the way from gay people. It's a difference. But you notice I don't take a whole bunch of time talking about no gay people and what they be doing. Because I'm not wired like that. I'm not a busybody in other men's matters. So you got to discern those who talk about they discerning and see that they are busybodies in other men's matters. And especially the Freemasons, you busybodies in other men's matters. Yes, you are. That's you. That's all you are, buddy. And I call it just how it is. Secret societies, some of these bitter black people, all these Illuminati members, you are busybodies in other men's matters. That's what the Bible calls them. That's what the Bible calls you, a busybody in other men's matters. So see, you had the wrong idea that I was here, you was here trying to listen to the prophet and waiting for me to make it. Man, you a sucker, man. You a sucker to me. I'm real. That's what I am. I stay armed too. I got it on me right now. I got it on my person right now. And because listen, I'm not gonna play no games with suckers. When I know really you ain't trying to discern and trying to see nothing. You think I'm somebody to play with. And that's what it is. And the white boy can't see it. I can see straight through that, and I think you think you bad, and you think I'm somebody to play with, and I keep it on me because of that. And I'm gonna advance my weapons, which means I'm gonna get more weapons. That's right. And I'm gonna still trust in spiritual weapons, but just in case you want to get frisky and you come past that threshold, I'm gonna have something waiting for you, buddy. Just like the first time. Yeah. Go ask people about me in this building. Oh yeah, go ask. Person came through that door, what happened to him? He was greeted with weapons. That's what he was greeted with. And he walked out that door. In 15 seconds, he was out that door. He was out that door less than a minute. He backed right up out that door, trying to show me what happened to him. All you're trying to do is save face. I'm smart enough to know as a warrior and a master. All you're trying to do is save face by showing me what happened to you. You know you ain't finna take no more steps closer. No matter if you talking about guns or what kind of weapons you talking about, these weapons will take care of you just as good. And you ain't gonna step no closer. And he didn't. He came up out of here. Then he talking about what he was trying to get me to see and understand. You don't need to get me to hear nothing, sucker. That's how we know you're a sucker. Talking about you were trying to talk to me. Do it look like I was trying to talk to you? Okay then. You knew that from the beginning. Well, I was just trying to talk to you. Now, see, the same one that was tough, oh, he trying to talk to me now because you realize me and you on the same level. You realize I ain't taking nothing off these suckers, bro. Don't ever get it twisted. Don't ever take my kindness for weakness and how I'm chill and laid back. Don't ever take that for weakness. You know what I'm saying? Because I keep it on me, bro. That's just what it is. And you can doubt that. I wouldn't doubt the man walking around with weapons. I wouldn't doubt that man. Because you out here slipping and I'm not. Yeah, that's why I talk like this. You should know why I'm going to be confident like this for no reason. Anytime you hear a black man talk like this, I'm confident because I got it on me, bro. Ain't no way in the world, man. Ain't no way in the world. I got something to take you right to the grave right now, if that's what you want to do. Right now. Right now. We ain't got to do nothing special about it. Right now, buddy. And that's a grown man. And you listen, I don't care. Listen, I don't want nobody that's a sucker listening to me anyway. If you ain't a soldier, man, I don't have no room for you in my life anyway. It's just that's just real. That's just real, cause it ain't trying to be tough, man. It's just people that done lived in the jungle for X amount of time and we think a certain way. I done lived in the jungle too long and I've been on the streets too long to care what people think. I know what I'm talking about, and I know when I'm being a nice person. I know when I'm being nasty. I know when I'm out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to see those videos. You don't get to see the videos where I went overboard. You know what I'm saying? I know when I'm within reason, when I'm talking about what I'm talking about and everything, But if you try to pick me apart, you're gonna play yourself. Cause listen, I'm gonna tell you one thing about this situation. With all this stuff that's going on, you don't know half of it that's been going on with my situation. You just know about the subject of gang stalking. That's all you know about. You don't really know how much I've been through on the same subject. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm stronger than most of these people. So I don't look like what I've been through like people say. Man, I done been through this stuff from coast to coast, city to city, everything, bro. You know what I'm saying? The same thing what you talk about. I've been through that literally, not me being paranoid, no, literally, bro. So I know what it takes, man. I know what it takes. All that patty cake, put them in the pan, and we just gonna talk about gang stalkers and what we've been through. I mean, they was doing that last year. We was doing that 3, 4, 5 years ago. What's the difference? You don't have no progression with your message. That's why I halfway listen to gang stalking people, cause you got the same message you had last year. It's 2026. You still going down the same road. You still sound like you did last year. You sound the same, bruh. Me, I'm not like man. I'm talking about millions of dollars in other countries. That's my progression. I done put $4 million over there in the Middle East. I done put $1 million down in South America against these people. This is spiritual warfare. You can't ever say I'm ever forever changing and progressing for the better. In my situation with these gang stalkers and spiritual war. That's why I tolerate. Listen, buddy, you ain't listen. Thank you for setting me free. Cause we ain't have to go no further than it had to go. Once you realize you don't know nothing about this, I see you don't know nothing about what's going on, you don't really know, and you them type of people try to catch people in this and catch people in that. Listen, I'm winning my wars, man. That's all I'm talking about. While you trying to catch people and stuff and catch people this and catch people, because if you're not careful, even the people being gang stalked will have the same kind of spirit. Trying to catch people this and you calling people devils. They calling you a devil. Now you going around calling other people devils. You know what I'm saying? You doing the same thing. You don't see it that way, but it kind of basically is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could care less, bruh. Listen, I don't care if it's a female or not. I could care less what you think, because I know what I'm talking about over here. Listen, just be careful when you put your mouth on me. That's all I'm saying. Because it's going to be harder for you than the gang stalkers. I promise you that. It's going to be way harder. Because I ain't going to have no mercy. No. I feel like you should know better. If you really are God's people, you should know better than to put your mouth on me. Because you yourself have been backsliding. You yourself have done things that was wrong, and you were still God's servant, wasn't you? Okay then, so then you can't even kick nobody while they down. You got to know what you're doing. You got to know what you're doing. When you put your mouth on people, when you're trying to correct people, whatever you're talking about, you got to know what you're doing. I ain't subject to your opinion. I'm a general. I know what I'm talking about. You tripping. I know what I'm talking about. I know what level you on, and you on the same level you was on last year. Go look at people's videos. They talking just like they was last year, right or wrong. Ain't no difference to it. It's the same talking, bruh. Me, listen, look how turned up I am. You know what I mean? You listen, ain't no way in the world you think you can beat me with that foolishness, bro. Psychological stuff don't work. Energy and all that foolishness don't work, bro. We on top of our game. I got it on me if you want it. It's that simple. That's what I'm saying, and I'm gonna advance my weapons for lames. Cause you know half black people ain't scared of nothing but a gun. Oh, you pull a gun out, they scared. They melt right there. I'm gonna get what you're scared of. I'm gonna get what you're scared of. Meanwhile, I still got something to take you to the grave if that's what you want. You think it's a game? It's not. You see me laughing? You see me smiling? I'm not playing. You too stupid. You so used to seeing so many people. You desensitized. You don't know when death is right in front of you. You can't play with me, buddy. You be out your mind. I don't care what you feel. I don't care how you feel. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I'm 100. It ain't ratchet. It's being a soldier. I'm a soldier on the battlefield, bro. I'm a soldier in the army of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got no religious spirits on me. See, a religious person, a person can be religious and see a person like her would say she ain't religious, but she is. Okay, you religious because when I'm trying to tell you what you gotta do, you gotta use spiritual weapons against these people physically. Make sense? Okay, I explained to this person, I'm not talking about doing physical operations. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about doing something to these people physically. Okay? I wouldn't incriminate myself with the feds and all of that and then talk about inciting violence against certain people. You can't do that, right? Okay, so I'm not doing that. But at the same time, I can talk about the future when there's no more law and there's anarchy, which means we won't be acknowledging the laws that you would think you were holding me to now. That will be gone. I can think about a time when them laws you got will be gone and I'll take care of my business. You know what I'm saying? With these same people. Because I know they lames. I know they ain't built like this. The only reason they able to walk around like this, man, is because of the police and the authorities. That's the only reason. If that wasn't there, man, them dudes is lames, bro. I guarantee you they'd be looking at us totally different if it was no law. We built to go to war and put people in the ground. That's what soldiers are. That's, and unfortunately, if you don't know what it is. And if you ain't built like that, bro, listen, you shouldn't be playing with nobody that is. But you want to feel like a lame boy, how it feels to be in the field. That's how you ain't gonna, listen, we don't give you the pleasure of letting you feel that way. No. I don't let you feel like you in the field. You ain't in the field. You're a lame boy, and we know it. You thought I was, and I'm not. I can listen, ain't nobody listen. You go back, talk to my family. Ain't nobody gonna tell you that really know me, that really seen me for who I was. I did felonies when I was 16. I started, so if you goofy, you see me as a goofy character or something because you goofy. That's what it is. I mean, I started doing felonies when I was 16. I started shooting guns when I was 15. Okay, that's my story. Now, your story might be you grew up in the church. That's you. Okay, I can't live like you and you can't live like me. Okay, and so I wouldn't doubt the person that talks like this and carry weapons. That's what I do, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I'm going to be first in line to know when it's time to go to war with these people. God going to let me know that as his prophet. And I'm going to know, and God going to listen. From my background and me being close to God, I'm going to know when it's time to go to war. It's time. See, you the type of people that let people go for doing stuff like this. You want to let them go. You want to pray for them and don't wish ill on them. You've been groomed by these other people. That's who got you like that. And you want their acceptance, and I don't care about it. You ain't gonna say you want their acceptance, but you kind of want to be accepted in this overall Christian circle, and it's not gonna happen if you walk the truth. If you walk the truth, you ain't gonna never be accepted totally by these people, and you're gonna find out the hard way. You ain't gonna never be accepted. So just like you try to reject me, there's a million people that'll reject you. Just for talking about gang stalking. They believe you wasting time and you should be talking about the word of God. Keep it 100. They feel like you perpetuating the problem. You continuing the problem by just talking about it and all of this stuff. See, I can show you how other Christians would think about you. They'll see you in error and turn the stream off on you just for talking about it over and over again. But you feel like you helping people, right? That's what I'm saying. But you can go to different Christians and I can show you they'll turn the stream off on you. Because they gonna feel like you just talk about this, and you should be talking the word. You should be praying, you should be talking the word, you should be talking about the solutions. Which that's what I was doing. I'm talking about fasting, I'm talking about giving offerings. I'm telling you what I came in telling people what to do. I came into the stream, you can see it. Okay, so I'm already talking about solutions. But when you try to catch me in something, like because you already deal with people that think a certain way, or you think this is something that you used to hearing, or along the lines of what you heard somewhere else, right? You're going to think you know where I'm going with it, and you don't, because you haven't listened to a prophet. A prophet going to tell you, you need to use fasting and giving offerings against these people, and you haven't heard it quite like that. As soon as you hear somebody talking about facing these people, you assume more than really is being, you assume more than what's being said. And then I broke it down to this person. If you still don't feel that if you feel whatever you feel, listen, you don't stop what I do over here. You ain't gonna stop this, and you ain't gonna stop this spiritual warfare either. Because it's coming for them, whether you think I wish this on them or not. Whether you think I wish it on them or not, it's coming anyway. It's what they deserve. That's why. It's reap what you sow. That's why. God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man sows, that shall he reap. They gotta reap it. You know, you can't pray. See, you the type to try to pray it off of them when they supposed to reap it. They gotta reap. They gotta reap. Like we say in the South, people are reaping. They reaping. You reaping for what you're doing. You reaping for what you've done. And see, those soft Christians are gonna be the ones that try to pray it off of them. We're gonna just pray for them. Like, I ain't doing none of that. They reaping what they sow. They reaping what they sow, bro. And that's that. And that's the scriptural basis. They gonna get what they deserve because they reap what you sow. It's no way around that. You can't pray it off of them. You can't pray for them. If they do not receive Jesus Christ the Messiah, if they do not receive the Lord, they're gonna reap what they sow. That's the bottom line. I can leave it right there and it's over with. That's why I tell people I don't have to fast like this because they already gonna get it. They gonna get it, bro. You gonna get it. Ain't no way around it. These Americans can't help you. If you do not receive Jesus Christ, you gonna reap what you sow. And ain't none of them can disagree with it. Ain't none of them can disagree with it because that's going against Christianity. Now you're going against Christianity. You are. If you think nothing is gonna happen to these people, that's going against the whole understanding of Christianity. Something will happen to you if you do not live according to the word of God, and they not doing it. Okay, so what's supposed to happen to them? See, that's how goofy people's mind got, bruh. Your mind got so goofy, you almost thinking nothing else supposed to happen to them. They ain't even scriptural. Ain't no way in the world you're going to gang stalk all around the country and then nothing happen to you. You're going to gang stalk all over the country because you're trying to be hard and ain't nothing going to happen to you. You tripping. That's why I don't have no mercy. I don't need them. I don't need you. I'm just keeping 100. I don't need you. I don't need you to get to keep me going, buddy. I don't need you to keep me going. I'm just being real. Like, see me, like the difference between me and other people, for a pretty face, people just sit up and try to be humble and everything, and then you give it to all these dudes. I give it to anybody. If you out of pocket, and you don't know what you talk about, and you don't know what you're doing, but you up there like a teacher, and we know you not, you don't even know, you ain't even responding to a concordance. You need a concordance. I done had one. I done had many days. I have the mindset of looking up things in the Hebrew and the Greek. If you don't do that, if you ain't on that level, you can't see me as a teacher. Because I'm not going to opinions of yours or mine. I'm going to go to the Bible. In the Hebrew and the Greek, not no ghetto interpretations. People got ghetto interpretations of we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Okay, go to the Hebrew and the Greek on the wrestle. On the word wrestle. Get the Hebrew and the Greek. That's the meaning right there. Now, your interpretation is ghetto. You put your own little spin on it. On what the word wrestle even mean, it does not define all forms of combat. It's only one style. It's only one dynamic on the whole spectrum of combat. See, that's over people's head. You got a whole spectrum of combat. Different dynamics on the whole spectrum of combat. Wrestle is one dynamic on the whole spectrum. Now you got all the different dynamics on one spectrum that scripture does not define and cover. And how we know? Because you can go right in the Bible and find wars right in the Bible. So obviously it does not define the whole spectrum of combat. And there you have it. There you have it. You see what I'm saying? And see, that's the bottom line. You know, you got to see. So how do we figure it out? You're a religious person. And you don't think you are. This is why I told people non-denominational churches in America, at least, is in danger of being religious. It's traditional and religious now. Look at it for what it is. Look how it don't fit into the world we live in no more with the gang stalking and all this crazy stuff going on. Not voting in America, not realizing you're supposed to vote. They still voting over there in the non-denominational. They don't realize the gang stalking. Look at it. It's becoming religious. You can't just go with people that don't seem religious no more. You got to go to another level. In 2026, to people that are spiritual. If they're not spiritual and they don't approach the whole word of God, they don't believe in the whole word of God, you got to move on. They're non-denominational religious people. And they'll say all the right stuff. Yeah, they might even say give an offering here and do this and do that. They're going to say all this clean stuff. It's going to seem clean. But they don't believe in the whole word of God when it comes to this war and how we are at war, like the Bible. When we at war with human beings, yes, we are. And I keep it on me, just in case you think it's fake. I got it on me right now. Meaning anybody come through that door, they gonna get the business. It's that simple. It's that simple, bruh. It's not no game. So that's just in case you think I'm playing. Just in case you use your free will to come through my door, I got something waiting for you. And I guarantee you ain't gonna listen. You can be the biggest dude in the world, and what I got right here, I guarantee you I'll take care of you. You can be 6'9", you can be 7 foot even. I guarantee you what I gotta take care of you, buddy. That's all you need to know. If you were 7 foot even, what I got will take care of you. That ain't nothing to play with. I ain't walking around with no pocket knife. That's what you thought. They told you I had a pocket knife. Tripping, bro. That's what I'm saying. You playing with death on a stick, buddy. I ain't playing no games. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you talking about. See, what some black people don't realize, it's black over here too. We the hood over here too, so to speak. They think they the only ones. That's how people like them get bodied all the time, bro. They think they the only ones from the hood. And these days, everybody got thugs in their family. We all got thugs and street people in our family. You ain't saying nothing to me about acting like a street person or whatever. I mean, we as black people today in 2026, we all got some thugs in our family that will kill you for me. They'll kill you to protect me. We all got that. There's people right now in the right circumstance situation to take you out for me, for my life. Won't have no problem with killing you. We all got that in our family. So then you humble yourself and realize, man, you ain't the only one with family. You ain't the only one with people that got killers on them. You ain't the only one that got people that will body you on your side. We got it. We just like you are over here. And that's what they don't realize. You know what I'm saying? That's just like it's people like that. It ain't me that don't realize. I ain't out here challenging people and playing with people. It's them that don't realize. Listen, you ain't the only one. You think you the only one walking around like that. You can't say I act like that, no, you can't say that. Because I'm only defending myself. You ain't never seen me on the offense playing around people out here, playing around the community. Yeah, that's who you check right there. You don't check the dude who defend himself, no. You don't check the dude that's talking loud because people playing in his face. It's a difference. It'd be different if I was talking loud and nobody ain't doing nothing. But we know that ain't true. We know people playing games, right? Okay then, suckers. So I'm playing my position like I'm supposed to play it. I don't need you. I don't need nobody to tell me what position I'm playing wrong or right. I know I'm playing my position right. I know how to get my respect. That's what made me nationwide. I know how to move this. I know, and then I know how I'm supposed to do it God's way. I know how I'm supposed to do it. That's why I don't listen to none of these so-called Christians. I'm not saying you ain't a Christian. See, I'm not the person to take that from people. I ain't gonna take it from you. I don't know, but all I know is as soon as you start putting your mouth on me, you're in trouble. Man, come listen. God done showed you time and time again what to do and how to do it. He done showed you. He keeps sending people to you to show you what to do, and you're not paying attention. You know what I'm saying? You keep doing things your way. You want to be right. Some people want to be right. You religious. You know what I'm saying? And you caught up in religion. Even non-denominational is religious these days. You got to be spiritual in 2026. You got to have the whole word of God with your spirituality. The whole thing. So you can understand what's going on. You can't be like you was in 2024. 2004, where you just had the scriptures from the TV, these TV evangelists, and they gave you a couple scriptures here for this and here for that. You can't be like that. That's how you are, and I can tell. You got to have this whole word of God and be in spirituality with God. Meaning you got to do spiritual things as you follow this full word. You got to be fasting and giving offerings. Those are the spiritual things. So at the end of the day, how am I talking about anything carnal or physical? I'm still in the good because I'm telling you to use spiritual weapons, and that's how I win. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying you got to point them towards the other side. You got to point it towards these people using witchcraft. That's what you got to do. They ain't fooling me, and some of them are double agents, if you will. They people that really, they doing they work. They could be working for the other side for all I know. Who knows? But it don't stop me. It don't stop what I'm doing over here. It don't stop me at all. So that's the bottom line, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, God is with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this for fame. I'm not doing this to get the notoriety. See, some people just looking to count you out because everybody counting you in. You know what I'm saying? It could be that too. You know what I'm saying? You never know. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is, man, listen, it's all good long as you don't put your mouth on me. Consistently and persistently, long as you don't put your mouth on me, you're gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I work too hard spiritually to be played with by Christians as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's right. I work too hard over here to be played with by Christians that ain't fasting. You eating all the time you want to eat. You ain't giving no offerings or nothing. You ain't putting in the spiritual work, and it's in the Bible. So it's no excuse. So we just listen. It's spiritual war over here. This ain't no street stuff. This ain't no delinquent thug life over here. This is real spiritual warfare. I'm just a black man from North Carolina. Pardon the accent. That's how I talk. You know what I'm saying? So it just you gotta realize what it is, man, and what it's not, man. We in this spiritual war for real. You know what I'm saying? For real over here. You know what I'm saying? And if you ain't with it, listen, just move on. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no problem for me. It ain't gonna be no problem for me. You know what I'm saying? Just keep your mouth off of me. Don't be talking about no devil and Satan and all of this, man. Because see, as soon as you start playing with me, that's going to alert God. And I promise you're going to have problems. You're going to have more problems and more pressure and everything because God going to correct you. Because I'm not saying nothing wrong to you. And then you really didn't listen to the correction. You just want to think a certain way. You want things, you trying to think for me. You can't think for me. I'm too grown for that. You know what I'm saying? So, it's all good. I ain't worried about it because I already know where they at. Half of them deceived. In the Bible, it says in the last days, there should be a great falling away from the faith. Many of you gonna hold on to America until the end of the world. You can't hold on to this country. I don't care if it's for children. I don't care who it's for. I don't care if it's for Nancy or whoever else. You can't hold on to America for just because this used to be your country. The world changed.